Mm. All right. It's March 16th, 2025 on Sunday. Mm. Double R, cousin.
Hey, what's going on, King? How you doing?
Oh man, if I had your hand, I wouldn't go to the casino.
I don't go either.
I must admit, over the years, I spent a lot of time in there because my wife, that was one of her. Um, we called it the adult arcade.
Yeah, that
You know,
part.
it, if it makes her happy, let's go.
Hmm. No, I hate to lose a dollar, so I can't get involved with that. I work too hard for my money.
Yeah,
And then they trick you too. They talking about it's a pity machine. When you max out bet, it's about $5.
yeah. Well, we were going in the days when when coins used to come, fall out of the machines.
Oh yeah, the coin,
Those
yeah.
days are long gone.
Yes, sir. Yep.
How you been?
I've been all right, man. We had a great event yesterday. CJ Sacramento came down, Chris and them, and LA team was there, Africa Town was there, Leap was there, and we had a nice little crowd from 12:30 to 4 o'clock. Get a update on everything and talking about our bills and about the Republicans and Democrats. The two bills that we have, we got both of them supporting us. So we got, uh, uh, I guess, some crazy stuff going on. They trying to blast us. Talking about we mega and the COBC members and they just mad because we ain't on their coattail no more. You know what I mean? So we getting it done how we gonna get it done. We don't care if they blue, purple, green, pink. We just want them bills on the flow. So
Yeah, as long as they're collaborating.
that's it. That's it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I gave a nice little talk about genealogy because it came up and I mentioned how we met and everything and what we do the first and third Sunday. So I might have that one a young lady who wants to wanted to join. I think if you sent her that email, she might
I
jump.
did via.
Yeah, yeah, she might jump in today. So, and yeah, I have another fella. He's trying to. I actually told him too that it was on sale. So, what $39 for the kit right now. So, everybody's interested because I asked everybody just like you did. Who raise your hand? Who did they DNA? Who knew this and that? And probably about five people in the whole room did. So it's good that they talked to me afterwards and everything. They said, yeah, they're gonna try and get the test and everything, and they're gonna try and contact me with the email so they can come to this Zoom and get some knowledge. You know what I mean? Get some knowledge
So,
about.
so
And I
you,
said just basically, I got 15 nations in me just to know who you are is a blessing, and other than that, to link up with your family members and to qualify for reparations. So it's three birds in one stone that they can tackle by doing this DNA, and no four. Let me say four because well, like I say, is you got to be registered to get it, and it's going to be huge that they know how to get involved. I think you told me 7 different ways kind of tests you can take, but like this one here is extremely difficult, and you and the other people that be on here across the United States uh, got very, very, very much education on how to get it cracked. You know what I mean?
Correct.
How know what you're reading, centimorgans and all that. You know what I mean? And the places that you can unlock where they don't have to pay the fee. And it was just a lot of wisdom that they took from that little time that I spoke. And yeah, I look forward for them to be joining,
Well,
coming up.
I want to commend you.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the war, the
Oh, yeah.
you, all 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 that you've learned, you've had a chance to teach, and
The little
that's
that I know. Yes,
yeah.
sir.
But
Little that I know.
look how much more that was than the average person.
Right, right,
And now they're focusing on you. They're coming to you
right, right. Yeah, yeah,
because you have a
yeah.
true story.
Yeah, yeah. It's amazing. It was all God, man. That was all God. The one kit you had gave it to me. I told him I still got the picture. That's when I found out that was my cousin. When he handed me everybody in that room, we had about 60 people, maybe. I don't know. Uh,
Oh man,
what
we had 100,
about 100 people,
at
and I
least
was
a
that
hundred,
one.
man.
Yeah, and I was that one. You know what I mean? That got the test, and we've been cracking down doing something. I told him, I said I represent CJAC, on here. I do my little portion of reparations with everybody, and brother Jerry, and he have other genealogists be on here too. You know what I mean? So it's not just him. It's his get up, but we all around the United States. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Attention was evident when police looked at Hamad's phone. Just the day before Tahira disappeared, he'd sent her a text
Well, I'm glad it turned out.
using her
It
out.
turned out
We're
well.
talking about text messages like,
Yeah,
leave
sure
me the
did.
F alone, I'm moving out. Yes. I mean, they were really butting heads.
Well, I got a TV on.
Between he and his mother,
Is that
and so
yours?
we were trying to figure out
No,
what is
not mine.
the issue here with you
I
and
think
mom.
that's uh, Deidre. There she is. I think she turned it off.
Okay. Oh, here go Queen on here now. V is on here. Yes. Salute, Queen. I saw her yesterday. Salute, Queen.
Hey,
How you doing?
hi, how are you? How are you
Oh,
doing?
blast. Good to see you on here. On top of you right here. I don't know if your screen is mine, but that's cousin Jerry here. Then we have sister how you pronounce your name? I ain't
I
got my
can't
glasses.
hear.
Deidre.
That's D. Yeah, Sister Deitch on here. And we got a Joe Davis on here. Yeah, yeah. So cousin Jerry right there, that's the one who gave me the test. That's our genealogist right there. So salute to the
Oh,
king.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm in here multitasking. I just saw your email. I said, "Ooh, let
I'm
me see
me.
if I can sign in now."
But
Yeah,
I
that's good.
can't hear him.
that's what we do. We multitask, and that's the value of being here, on this Zoom meeting. I want to welcome all the new people who are here. Uh, you know, new cousins and members. Thank you so much for participating. It means so much to us, and we just our purpose is to connect each other and find out, not only who we are, where we came from, and once we get that established, we have a good idea where we're going.
Yes, yes.
So Reggie, just continue. I just have another, on you were which part of LA were you in?
Oh, we was on Crenshaw. Well, we was in Lamert Park area, which is on Crenshaw and 43rd. Yeah, it was right off of Crenshaw, right next to that McDonald's right there, right by Africa Town, Lamert Park, right around the corner. Yeah, right up the street. So it was a nice turnout. Yeah, real nice turnout.
Did you have any challenges where people were they supportive?
Oh, absolutely, man. It was man, the crowd was in it. It was time for them to speak and had questions. They had questions and comments, and it was very informative, man. And like I said, Chris and them was down there from Sacramento. Darlene and Chris, and then Chad and Chris did most of the talking. Then you had Marcus too. Marcus was doing some talking too with CJ. So yeah, man, it was nice, man. It took me about 3 hours to get there because I ran into three accidents, man. I left at 10 o'clock, tried to get there for 12:30, and I wind up pulling up about 2 o'clock. You know what I mean? But we still had a lot of time left, and we had food there, drinks, and then we stayed after because Queen Tiffany, one of our organizers, it was her birthday. So shoot, I think I didn't leave there to yeah about 7, 8 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah,
Are you a member of CJEC?
yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You're local in LA or are you up north as well?
Well, no, I'm in the Inland Empire. I'm in the IE. I have the IE
Oh,
chapter here. Yeah, yeah. So I really deal with Dago in LA, and I'm out here in IE. Yeah. So any problems
mhm.
out here, we have just like the situation with Corey Jack that we had in Moreno Valley. They came down and helped me support him to go protest against him. But I handle most of the stuff. I'm actually in Bill Asaley's, the Republicans, District
Oh, wow.
63.
Okay.
I am District 63. So this is the man that pushed that authored our SB 1315, which was the SB 1403, the American Freedom Affairs Bill. So yeah, I'm blessed to be in his
His
district.
district.
Yeah, and
Well,
I've
you're a
given a
constituent, so that carries some weight too. You're one of his constituents. But I
absolute.
haven't had an opportunity to read it yet. I'm looking forward to.
Okay, yeah, with the SB 1315.
Right. He just told me about it yesterday, and last night I was tied up, so I haven't
Oh,
had an opportunity to read it yet.
yeah, it was just established. I don't know if you're familiar with the SB 1403 from last year that got shut down on August 31st, but it's basically the same thing to establish. It's a power bill. If you don't have this bill, I don't care if you got money coming or whatever. If you don't establish American Freedom Affairs Agency, nothing is going to pop. So this is our foundation bill here. It's a strong bill, and like I said, without this, you can't do nothing with no checks, no land, and no nothing, no nothing. This starts a lineage based process. That's why we on here now. It starts the process because if you don't have a Freedom Affairs Agency, you can start to qualify people, and then it finishes all the way to pass the checks out once you get the money, not just from state or United States or national, but it would be from Chase Bank to the Catholics and all the money. So that's what the Freedom Affairs Agency does. It's a power bill. Establish our agency, our own agency, not from Governor Newsom. This is our agency. And I yield. Black Power every second of the hour.
I think you came after we were speaking, but I'm new to this, but that was one of the first things that I said was if you want us to support you in this bill, one, we need to see the bill. And two, we need to start doing agencies to get a jump start on tracing our lineage. So, that's already done. We can proceed more quickly. And as people, learn about and all the qualifications, we can come and start it immediately because we already have our lineage done. That's what one of the things that I had said. And boom, here you are
Here it is.
already.
Here go cousin Jerry right here. Cousin
Yeah.
Jerry Moss and the
It's like,
crew.
so
And the
that
rest of
way
the
they
crew
don't,
on here too. So
right. So it
everybody
don't
on
take
here.
another 5 years to catch up. It's like, how you want to prove this? Our lineage? Okay, bam, we already got it done here.
Yes.
Think
And
of
maybe
everything that they're gonna, opposition to. Well, we don't even know who they are. Okay, we do. Here's our lineage. Here's this. Here's that. Have all of the things checkbox checked. And I know a lot of people say monetary is the way, and I'm not denying that. But one of the ladies was talking about, children. I said, you know what? Give them a list of things we want. Let them say no. Say education, free taxes, land, everything that you want and money. Let them say, put everything on the damn list.
you got it. Hey, I don't know if you know, I was at the last task force meeting and the last one in Sacramento. And I thank the task force members, and I told America, you're guilty. I said, you stole us, did the first hate crime from Africa. You brought us over here, you raped us, so you married us. You put African American on us. Now it's time for divorce. And what do you get in divorce? You get half the money, half the land, child support, and alimony, attorney fees.
Right.
We
And
Well,
want it
all the
all.
psychological abuse and all the stuff that I went through, tack on all of that too.
And some.
Psychological abuse that we do, discrimination, tack on all of that on top of
Yes,
it.
yes.
and all that applies, especially in this environment that we're in now. That there has to be a tremendous amount of collaboration because we're all on the same ship now. There's no separatism because uh, a lot of the people are getting hit with these different policies. It doesn't matter um, your denomination. Uh, it's indiscriminating on who are getting attacked, and so it's important for us to collaborate. And our common our common entity is DNA. And so when we share, let every individuals know that we're related by DNA. And so what helps me. What helps me helps you. So there has to be uh, education. We have to share what we know. That's the message that I want to share with each one of
Well,
you. And
one thing that I have, gentlemen, that questions, because of miscegenation and rape and all the other things that happen, I foresee a lot of white folks gonna start claiming that they were black and have slave blood, but they've been white all this time. But when money gets involved in any benefits or perks, then they gonna start jumping on the bandwagon. And it has to be. This is why 209 is so tricky. And they keep throwing that in there. You can't have this language. So how do you identify? If you can't use black color, any identifying markers, how do you, and I know Chris mentioned just using Freeman, but there were other slaves that weren't from Africa descent. How do you make it specific for those from Africa? Because there were indentured servants. There were other slaves from other places that aren't of African lineage.
well, young lady, I I appreciate my viewpoint on that. I appreciate you taking that, asking that question. Uh, but when we come to that battle, we'll have it. We'll have it then. Uh, it, that it, those people are in the minority. We want to get across the finish line together first, and we will have that. As a matter of fact, from people who weren't enslaved before 1900, that they can show that they were enslaved before 1900. That's one of the reasons why we have the lineage space, because of the Caribbeans and the people from the islands. They weren't enslaved in the United States before 1900. That's one of the guidelines. Were you aware of that, Vivian?
You talking to me? I'm Via.
Via, were you aware of that?
Yesterday was my first meeting, so it's new to me. I'm just foreseeing and just thinking about things as I was listening in the meeting, and they were talking about the language. I'm familiar with 209, and I disagree that it's actually a barrier, and I'll have to go back and read it. But I went to UCLA when Ward Conley, the one who authored that stupid bill, was there, and people were going back and forth with Ward Conley. I don't know if he's still alive. I heard he died. I don't know if that's true or not. But 209 was, all the what is it, DIY or anything that's diversity, people are anti. at this point. They don't want the inclusion or, with anything. And I was saying it was for education, it was for employment, it was for a lot of different things that they can't take into consideration for race. But this is not to for employment or education or anything. This is to right a wrong. So how does 209 really apply? That's what I don't understand.
Well, again, uh, we
And really, we shouldn't have to fight for it. They know they're wrong, and America, should, if they're trying to compensate and do right, they should be coming to us to negotiate, really, because to right or wrong. But we know that's not going to happen. But I'm just saying, and then too, we can't have this language, we can't have that. All of that should be excluded. We're trying to make some there is no justification or payment for what they did, but some consideration.
thank you
So
so
all
much
of
for
this
that.
language stuff is just,
For your,
excuses and kicking the can.
thanks for your comments. They're well taken. At this time, we're going to have a brief introduction of the individuals, and I'll start off with it. My name is Jerry Moss, and I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska, Jerry Moss Sr., and I am studying my four grandparents, and I do know who they were and their trees and what's happening. I'm using DNA to reconstruct my family and help others do the same thing. And because during Reconstruction after the Civil War, it the country as a whole, it took them about 5 years to I'm not 10 or 12 years to reconstruct America after the Civil War. That's the process of Reconstruction. You hear that term, Reconstruction. But with us, we're still reconstructing our family. Do you agree? We're still
Yes.
reconstructing our family, and one of the tools that we use, beloved members, is DNA. And so that's what we're using to reconstruct our families. And in the process, that's when the political component came in, the reparations. And so when the reparations came, um, started, we had already been documenting our families. And so that's why, via we have a lot of documentations already. And so we're prepared for whatever we have to face. So with that in mind, and I live in San Diego, and I'm a member of a couple of genealogy research groups, and this is one that I founded so that we can have a platform so we can talk and ask questions and teach what we know, and save you expenses, and also answer questions. And then that's the genealogy component. And then we obviously we have a political one, and that's where Double R, Clarice, where they come into it. But you got to have the facts. You got to know who you are. DNA, your DNA cannot be hidden. So that's my intro. Joe, then Via, and then Clarice. Joe Davis, please, a brief intro. Do you know how to unmute yourself, Joe? Okay, let's go with Clarice. Clarice, could you introduce yourself, please?
Good afternoon. Yes, I am Reese White. I was born and raised in California. I presently live in Sacramento. I've lived in Fresno, California, and Sacramento, mostly here in Sacramento. Yes, I I don't know about so political, but I'm getting into political. I'm glad that Double R is on today. He's definitely into the reparation thing, but I'm learning a lot. I got introduced to this program through Double R on a program that I'm on there in Sacramento. He mentioned and I joined, and of course, Jerry has been very instrumental, excuse me, in me reconstructing my father's side of the family. I've actually spoken to individuals, and I'm currently now doing more research, dealing with some personal issues, but getting involved in that. So this has been very good. I love coming on, listening, learning about other people's plight and their fight and in their struggles. And I learned a lot, and I'm learning the language. I'm getting pretty good at understanding the language. And so I do appreciate being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Clarice. Via, please. Can you hear me, Via? It is Via, isn't it? Bye. Okay, let's go with Daedra. Daedra.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Datra. I'm from Tampa, Florida. Um, and I just took a DNA test just to see where I come from. I didn't know that I was gonna have any matches. That shocked me to my core. I was so shocked. I even almost cried. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I have 17,000 matches. So, and you one of them. So thank you for reaching out to me because I'm still speechless. And it shows that our family goes way back.
And not only does it go way back, but you're going to be able to um, you're going to be able to meet some of your new DNA cousins, and
Okay.
and
I'm
what we'll
looking
do,
forward to that.
yeah, you'll be able to meet some that you never knew you had, and
Right.
so that's going to take some work,
Yeah, it
but
is.
we look forward to helping you do that. And let me ask you
Thank
this:
you.
what did it mean for you to to find your ethnicity, your ethnicity estimate?
Um, Shocked because I was always told I was Indian.
how how shocked were you?
Very shocked. I don't even know what to say. I mean Nigerian, and I was like, oh my God, because we was always told we was Blackfoot and Cherokee.
And you didn't have very much of that in your
Not one lick of it. And the names, I don't even recognize the last names. I mean, we always went by Willingham or Small. Small is my daddy last name on his side. And Willingham is my grandmother's side, my mother's mother. And
what
that's
do you,
all we knew. And we were from South Carolina, started out, and North Carolina. Then they migrated to Camilla, Georgia.
okay, well, thank you for the introduction, and you're a candidate for us assigning a mentor to help you and
Okay, thank you.
through this journey.
Okay, looking forward to it.
Yvette, could you please tell us about yourself?
Sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So my name is Yvette Chenier. I'm a descendant of Moss. My grandmother was Ella Moss, and I originally learned about this group when we were doing a family reunion and we needed to make it virtual. And somehow there were some connections between some of my aunts and Jerry and that sort of thing. So here I am. Born and raised in New York, currently reside in New York, and love to travel. Happy to be here.
Cousin Yvette, did you look at any of the documents that I attached to the email on the subway going back and forth to work?
I did not. I actually am just now starting to like sign back on to the calls and that sort of thing. So I haven't looked at any documents. You
Okay,
attached them to this call here, this email?
yes, this email. And let me tell you what's transpired since we've last met. Since we've last met, there's been um there's been a couple of Caucasian DNA relatives who have shared their story,
Wow.
and they have shared their tree, and they have um we have a common ancestor, and so that they shared their tree with me and their documentations, and a lot of their connections, they're related to my East Coast DNA cousins.
Oh, wow.
And so they're in the documents is what I'm sharing with you. And
Okay, I'll take a look.
and she lives like one of them, Lauren De Moll, she lives on the East Coast.
Okay.
And so she has remorse about what her ancestors did, and she wanted to help us reconstruct our family. Uh, Her and
Wow.
another Caucasian cousin named Tommy Lewis. So they've been very helpful, and we appreciate that. Thanks,
All right.
Yvette. It's
Thanks for letting
good
me
to
know.
see you.
All right.
It's good to
Same
see you
here.
again.
You look like you're 10 years younger than the last time I saw you.
Oh man, I I got my
There you go.
crown. I got my crown.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Um, so we have
Jerry.
now. Go ahead, Joe.
Okay, yeah, I'm here now. I'm sorry. I thought I didn't unmute myself.
Thank
Uh,
you.
my name is Joel Davis, but I go by Joe. I am Edna Davis's oldest son, her only son. I am actually of that lineage that you spoke about the James Monroe,
Yes.
the one you referenced. That's my great grandfather, and there was three kids: James Moss Jr. or yeah, well James, and then his Ella and Emerson were the three kids that Monroe had. And James was my grandfather. And I'm going to tell you the story behind all that because my grandfather uh, told me bits and pieces when I was a kid.
Your
So
grand
his
when you
grandfather,
say Joe, when you say grandfather, mention a name too, like your
okay,
grandfather name. Which one, Joe?
uh, my grandfather was James Lawrence Moss,
Yeah. Okay.
and he was the oldest of the three kids
Mm-hmm.
of James, Ella, and Emerson. His father was the one that went to Howard University, second class, as you mentioned, graduated with a degree in theology, and was a porter for the train company. And he kind of did that. But there was a disconnect between his wife, which was my grandmother, James's mother, and them.
Ella.
Uh, no, Ella's mother.
Okay. Betsy.
So they got so yeah, yes, right, correct. So Betsy's mother got involved in their relationship, and basically she hid letters that James Monroe mailed to his wife in Wilkes-Barre. So
Could you
the whole
repeat?
time,
Say, cousin Joe. Could you repeat that?
okay. So while James Monroe was going to Howard University to get his theology degree, he was mailing money and letters back home to his wife in Wilkes-Barre. And the Betty's mother basically took the money and hid the letters from her daughter, his wife. So the whole time that he was going to Howard, he's thinking that he's waiting there, but he's never hearing back from his wife, and he was trying to figure out what was going on? Why was there just such a disconnect? And then years later, well, he actually never found out until many, many years later. But he left D.C. after he graduated and was a porter, and then was going on the trains, and he ended up in Minneapolis. And then he met that lady in Minneapolis who
Edna.
Yes, Edna, correct. And he stayed out there until the late 60s, early 70s. And at that point in time, he was there, and then while in the late 60s, early 70s, he came down with dementia. But back then they didn't really have a name for it; they just called it old timers. But what it was, he came down with dementia.
Excuse me, Joe.
Yes.
And please bear with us, family.
Yeah.
You're on point to a certain degree. What happened is he was a traveling preacher, and he went to he started off in Minnesota,
and
he migrated from the East Coast because he did get a theology degree in 1911, and
correct.
That's where he met Edna, and they did have a child, and whose name was James, and he stayed there until about after 1920, because between 1920 and 1930, because in the 1930 census he was living in Omaha, Nebraska,
right,
with his first cousin, and that's where I'm from, Omaha, Nebraska.
Right.
And he is he's listed in the 1920 census, and his brother went there also to Minnesota.
Correct.
And eventually, after the 1930 census, you're right, he did have a mental challenge, and his son went and got him.
James, right, my grandfather.
And brought him back to the East Coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was dementia, and that's And the reason I say that definitively is because my mother actually, she followed behind her grandfather, and she went to Howard, and she graduated from Howard.
Oh, that's great.
And her degree was in she actually was going there she was going to be pre-med, but she got talked out of that towards the end. So I kind of feel kind of way about that, but that's what she was going. That's why her father, James Lawrence Moss Sr., moved back to DC after he and his wife, Sarah Jane, left Wilkes-Barre. That's why he moved to DC, because he wanted his daughter to go to Howard, because that's where his father had went.
That's a great story. And as you see, beloved members, this format, it helps us reconstruct our family just by hearing those stories, and we're reaching out to each other, and then that fills in what we heard, and then we have verifiable records. Thank you so much, Joe. Thank you so much, and we will go further into it.
Okay.
I have a quick question, Jerry. Do we know what years they went to Howard University?
Yes. And it's the Moss boys, and we know James graduated in 1911 because we have his degree, picture of it.
Wow.
And so it was previous to 1911, but he did, and those were some of the early years that they about the second year that they had that theology program, if I remember right. And he was a vice president of the class, so he was. And our family as a whole, we have a lot of ancestors and descendants who were preachers. That's one of the traits, that one of the skills that was passed on. So did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Miranda, could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, and I guess you'd say good afternoon on West Coast time here. Um, I just want to say hello, and my name is Miranda Hazard, and I thank you for having me. I am a cousin of Jerry's. We haven't figured out how we've met, I'm sorry, how we're related, but we're both members of the San Diego African American Genealogy Research group here in San Diego. And we found our connection, or at least we found that we were connected through GEDmatch. Our GEDmatch numbers, we just happened to have had one of our meetings where, we were learning how to use GEDmatch and adding numbers, and come to find out the two of us are related somehow. Haven't figured it out yet, but we're working on it. And I've been invited to attend the meetings. I haven't been on much because I do have other things that sometimes I'm on Zooms for, but I do thank you for having me. And I just joined, and I'm hearing the last name Monroe, and that happens to be on my maternal side. But I'm still not finding a connection yet. But at the same time, the last name is there, so it's hard to say. But again, I thank you, and I look forward to any opportunity to be able to join a meeting, or just listen to some of the stories and information that's shared by others who are also interested in genealogy and family history research. It means a lot.
Thank you, Yvette. I mean, thank you, Miranda.
You're
Hey,
welcome.
Double R, she's in the same group that Yvette Moore is in. She's in that same group.
Okay.
Our African, our San Diego African American genealogy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At this time, does anyone have any questions before I go into the agenda, or any comments?
Double R.
Go ahead.
Salute Queen Miranda. Miranda, how you say your name?
Miranda.
Miranda. Hey,
Yes,
man, you
sir.
guys are awesome. And salute to Queen Yvette. She knocked it out the park when we had a 24-hour notice for her to come down to Governor Newsom's office with us as we did a press conference. And man, the news turned on her. They gave her extended interview. I just appreciate you guys, the work that you guys are doing. God bless you. I salute you guys. Black power every second of the hour. Go.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And so that's one of our goals is, we're learning, and when you learn something, you teach. We teach. It doesn't do us any good to keep all this information. It's better to share it. For me, it's therapeutic. As a matter of fact, a few years ago we went through that terrible pandemic, and we were isolated. We had to be home, and this this Zoom platform is what kept a lot of sanity and kept people connected where they wouldn't have been able to be physically connected. We were through the Zoom platform, and we're still connected now, even more so, and we're using it to help others. Thanks, Debar. Okay, I'm going to start off with first agenda item.
Oh, wait. Cousin, I forgot to introduce myself to other people. I was here earlier. Just a
Go,
quick one.
go
Um,
ahead. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, I'm Double R, Reggie Romaine from the Senior Head Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. And me and Jerry met at a San Diego's California Task Force Reparations Task Force meeting, and he said it was about 100 people in there, and he had one test, and he said anybody need. First of all, he did like I did yesterday, Queen Via. How many people? He said how many people know your DNA, and hardly nobody raised their hand. Very few. I know I said I know I didn't raise mine. So he said, well, I got one test. And he said, who needs a test? And I usually come. I'm always the first speaker. And this was a Sunday. Saturday I had to go to work, but I stayed this time. I usually catch it on the radio. I mean, on the app and go back to work. But I stayed there, and he turned around, and he was about the ninth person after me, and he gave me the test, and I still got the picture, and I found out this is my cousin. You know what I mean? So it's amazing. And like I think Queen, I forgot her name, but it has nothing. She said that she just did hers and found out what's in her and everything. I got 15 nations in me, and of course, I'm finding out about my relatives and everything right around the corner from me and everything. And salute to Jerry, and yeah, and I just been doing this CJEC reparations fight for about like 4 years now, and this will get us over the hump. And I think Queen Via had something about on the lineage base, and white people going to try and say, well, where my money at? This right here would disqualify them. You have to have African American, well, we say the word African American, but to be a descendant of slaves before the 1900s in California and live here for 6 months at least to get the check that we're doing. I yield back. Black Power. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you, WR. Double R. Before we go into the agenda, any comments or suggestions or questions? Give me your thoughts, anyone. I've made some comments. I just would like to hear, what's on your mind. What are you thinking about? What kind of feedback do you have so far about and what can we? What are you thinking about? Just share your thoughts.
I'll share a brief story, Jerry. This wasn't by my doing, but about a year ago, someone reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Hey, here's some information that I found when I did my DNA testing." And they said a whole bunch of people started appearing in their matches that they never heard of before. And the people that they thought were their family were not matches. Fast forward, I found my sister, or she found me.
Yeah,
Yes,
what?
a sister. Yes. And well, I shouldn't say a sister, I'm sorry, a niece, because her mom would have been my sister and she passed away. So, there's a lot of things that were hidden, and back then there weren't a lot of records that you can really trace what exactly happened, but just based on her experiences that she shared and my experiences that I knew of, just from stories that I heard from my own mother, I was able to put two and two together. And so we have a whole lot that we have to, just kind of learn about each other and everything else. But this DNA is powerful. It's very powerful.
Did you connect with her?
I did, yes. We connected. We haven't connected in person as yet, but that's the next thing.
Thanks for sharing that story.
For sure.
Hmm.
Double R.
Go ahead.
I know I got the run in my mouth today, but check this out. First of all, Sister Clarice, she was on here earlier. Shout out to her, and I invited her here because we were on a radio show up in Sacramento called The Wise Words of One Gun Shown, and she's the first lady of radio. So salute, Queen. I'm glad you interested in this. I think we all need to be. And fast forward, and Sister Via, one more thing to you about the immigrants that they were talking about too as well. They have a bill that's on the floor right now that they're pushing a bill for the immigrants to get paid or whatever, but there's no study and there's no lineage base. They don't even know if they're really immigrants. And that's something I think that I know it'll die out, but it's something that we're doing here is more concrete, it's going to stick. Like I said, we're going to find out. This don't lie. And a question to Sister Queen Miranda, the genealogist out there with you, Jerry. She mentioned GEDmatch. Can you give me what is GEDmatch? Is it like Ancestry? And I know we have several other. If you can mention them too, is that one that you do the like Ancestry, do the swab or whatever? Just give me some information, and the rest of them that we have available. That if you just don't use Ancestries or GEDmatch, I know there's 23andMe, and what's the other ones that we have available, and which ones are the free ones as well? I yield back. Black Power.
Okay. Um, let's see here. As far as GEDmatch, from what I remember, there's a feature where you can take your ancestry information or or a couple of different platforms that they have available, depending on which one you've used for DNA results. I have Ancestry, and I have also used MyHeritage. However, I still have yet to take the test for MyHeritage, but I do have an account with MyHeritage. But as far as GEDmatch, I used Ancestry to upload my information from Ancestry into the GEDmatch application, and that's when it provided and Jerry, if you don't mind helping with this, I was able to kind of get a number that's assigned. Each person gets a number assigned to them based on their DNA results, and that number is specific to you. And so that number that was assigned to me, once I was able to put that into GEDmatch, I was and Jerry put his in, and other members from our genealogy group, they put their numbers in. But Jerry and I just happened to be a match based on, and the results that are on GEDmatch, it has to do with the centimorgans and the DNA information. So that part I'm not too familiar with, but I know that with GEDmatch you can upload your results from either like Ancestry or 23andMe or I want to say MyHeritage as well, but I do know with those DNA kits, you can get that information uploaded into the GEDmatch application. And that's when you can kind of determine and compare your DNA compared, with someone else to see whether or not you're related. And it may not be something to where you find out right away how you're related, but if you're, let's just say like for Jerry and myself, we're related, but we haven't quite figured out how. It may be a few generations back. It might not necessarily always be, that immediate connection.
And you mentioned centimorgans. Can you, for the new people on here, can you let us know what does centimorgans mean and how much do you and Jerry have?
Okay. Let's see. Now, I don't remember offhand how many centimorgans Jerry and I have, but for instance, let's say if let me see, it's the number of, I guess you'd say, DNA information or DNA. How would you say, cells or just type of the DNA? And I'm trying to find the right word for it, but let's just put it this way: the closer the centimorgan number, the closer your DNA match is. For instance, a parent and a child, that number is going to be much higher than, let's say, a cousin and maybe a second cousin or something to that effect, or even siblings. The numbers will be different. So the higher the number, the closer the relationship, but the lower the number, the further out the relationship may be. It may be, let's see, or let's just say the lower the number, it could be, a couple of generations in between the relationship of cousins. something to that effect. Because I have to admit, I'm still kind of learning myself.
Thank you, Miranda.
You're
Miranda,
welcome.
you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. I tried.
Okay,
Thank you.
Jawar, I'll expand on that a little bit further.
Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate that.
No, she did great. I like
I
her answer.
know.
I like her answer.
And
Thank you.
I enjoy watching her. You know, it's
Oh,
I'm sorry I'm
I
putting
have
you on
to
the
get out of the
spot. I'm
habit of doing
sorry.
the
I'm
hand thing.
sorry.
I'm
I'm
like, oh,
sorry.
that doesn't look good. Stop doing the hand.
well. Here's the the arithmetic. Okay, each one of us have 7,000 individual, 7,000. Let's use the word units of DNA. Seven
Okay.
thousand. Now our children, and that's centromorgans.
Okay.
Centromorgans is what it's called. And our children have half of that. They have 3,500.
Okay.
So it's half. And then our grandkids have half of that. There's our centromorgans. Their units of measurement are 1,700. And
Okay.
then your other relatives, they're measured by centromorgans. And then you can see the number of, the higher the number of centromorgans, the closer you are related to them. So that's the one thing. And I will be showing you. Like,
Okay.
look at Denise. Denise just said a centromorgan is a unit of measurement used in genetics.
Oh,
Let's get this. A centromorgan is a unit of measurement used in genetics to describe the distance between 2 points on a chromosome. In genealogy and DNA testing, it's often used to estimate how close two individuals are related. The
mm-hmm.
larger number of shared centromorgans, the closer the genetic relationship.
Okay.
That is the formal definition, and that came from our dear cousin Denise Jarrett, who just came on the scene just in time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Denise. Appreciate it. I just took those notes so next time I'm asked, I know what to say.
And double R, the other question you had was GEDmatch.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, GEDmatch, and I want to share this with everyone. It is a program that is similar to, just look in your mind's eye. It's a separate program that some genealogists started because everybody didn't take all these different testing companies. See, you have about 7, 8, 9, 10 testing companies, but I'm not going to pay for each one of those testing companies. I pay for ancestry.com. But there's another relative who took the 23andMe. Another one took my heritage. So what those relatives did, there's this format, the platform. It's like an Amazon DNA. You know, when we go to Amazon, you can order different items from different manufacturers. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you as an individual, you can upload your raw DNA up to this Amazon
Yes.
DNA platform.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ordered mine. I uploaded mine from, I'm on Ancestry. I'll upload that to that Amazon DNA platform. Somebody from 23andMe, they uploaded theirs to that platform. And what happens is you can compare DNA at that platform, and you can find people who from different testing sites. That's the value of this.
Okay.
And the other thing I want to be clear. It is the platform that, and Reggie, he can go into a little bit more detail, but like, it is a platform. GEDmatch is a platform that law enforcement uses to
Oh,
solve cases. And
wow.
one of the most major court cases that they solved was a Golden State Killer.
Right. I remember that one.
Yeah, somebody got one of the Golden State Killers. He uploaded his information to GEDmatch, and uh, the uh, gene genealogy detectives they found that DNA, and then the victim they had some DNA on the victim, and they traced a fourth cousin back down until they said, "Oh, this is probably who the Golden State Killer is." And what they did is they waited till he went into a coffee shop and came out, and he dumped his after he got through drinking his coffee, he left his cup in the trash. The detectives pulled it out of the trash and got the DNA off of it, and it matched, perfect match. And it was something that happened. Reggie, how many years was it, Reg? Reggie, 15 years. 15 years.
Yeah, you talking about the police guy? Yeah, that was doing this. Yeah, about 10, 15 years. Yeah, yeah.
And
Mhm.
he did work with the police. So I didn't say that to scare you, but I'm telling you that the DNA ancestry GEDmatch is a real helpful tool, but you got to be, you have to treat it delicately. And you sign a waiver. You can say, I don't want my information used for police work, or you just say, hey, I have nothing to hide, and just go on and use it. And what happens is I was able to locate a relative that's not in Ancestry, but he was in My Heritage, and he matched me like about 900 centimorgans. So he's like a great nephew, and I never would have known that in Ancestry. But his numbers, he uploaded his to that Ancestry, that Amazon DNA platform. So I just wanted to share that with you, and I will be showing you on the screen too, because I do have that's part of our presentation. Um, Denise, could you please introduce yourself and tell us about yourself, and you too, Gracie? Just a brief description, where you live and who you researching, and uh, who who have you what have you found lately in your research, Denise, and then you, Gracie. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Denise Jarrett. I live here in Pickerington, Ohio. That's just the southeast suburb of Columbus. Um, I've been researching, um, I don't know, since 1988. I started when after my dad saw Roots, he was interested in finding his father's people because his father died when he was 5 years old. So I was basically the secretary keeping track of all the names and looking up the birth dates and death dates of the people he was trying to find. So I've been doing that off and on ever since. It got more intense in 2020 because that's when I retired. So I was able to devote more time to doing family history research. I am not a certified genealogist, as I have to explain to all my family members, but I have spent a lot of time doing family history research. So I think I'm pretty good at it. I help some other friends with their family history research as well. One of the families, oh, I've got hundreds of family surnames because of the research that I'm doing, assisting other people. Um, my I have one ancestry tree that has close to 40,000 names in it, and that's just for one family line and all of the extended family associated with that. So, it's Durden, Durden. I can put a list in the chat in case anyone comes across any of those names. But they, cover the usual Smith, Jones, Thompson, Thomas, the whole nine yard, Winston, Butler, you know. I also participate and attend every Friday in a Freedmen Bureau Friday session. That's facilitated by Dr. Shelley Murphy, who is a genealogist and has been doing this for quite some time, longer than I have actually. And she's very knowledgeable. And in that meeting, there's a lot of different genealogists that come on and talk about, their experiences, the things that they've shared, um, how they're how they've been successful in a lot of their research. Just recently, I don't know how many people are familiar with Ohio State football, but we had one of the greats here, Archie Griffin. Um, and I just actually connected him and his family to some of the folks I had in that Durden family tree that I have, the larger one. So I have a connection to him. We're not blood relatives, but we are connected. And then one last thing, I'm also pretty proficient in working in a tool called Wikitree. And that is a global family tree. They've got participants, over 1 million members, and all of those members are all around the world. So it's pretty exciting to see how you're connected to different celebrities. That's one of my favorite tools there is the connection tool that can show you how you're connected to a lot of different folks. So that's it for me, Jerry.
Does anyone have any questions for Denise?
No, double R. I like to. Wow, you got connections with the. This is Black History Year, not just month, but Archie Griffin. If y'all don't know him, he's the only person that won the Heisman Trophy 2 times. Wow.
Yes.
Salute. Tell him I said shout out Black Power every second of the hour.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thinking about Heisman trophies, my homeboy Johnny Rogers from Nebraska, he won a Heisman Trophy also in 1972, and I was blessed to have it for about a month. He had a challenge in court, and they had to turn it over. He had to turn it over. Somebody else had some attorneys, and I had to get with Johnny and say, "Hey, you have to get that back. It's not only your Heisman, it's our Heisman." He did. He said, "Hey, Jerry, it's at our lawyer's office. You can go get it and pick it up." And I went and got the trophy, the Heisman, Johnny Rogers' 1972 Heisman Trophy, and I shared it for about a month with all the midget footballs, the high school, and I even took it to a UCLA Nebraska game in the front row, and I just lifted it up. And so it went up the stands in the Rose Bowl. And about an hour or so later, here comes some of my my hometown brothers and sisters. They brought it back down to me. So his trophy is the most touched trophy out of all the Heisman trophies. Just a little bit of trivia.
Yeah.
Wow, salute, King. Salute, man. Honor, salute. Yes.
Okay, Clarence, Gracie, please introduce yourself, cousin Gracie.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Gracie Spears. I live here in Florida in Brooksville. I was born in Selma, Alabama, but I was raised up in Brooksville, Florida. I learned about Ancestry through Jerry, who sent the text out to me to come on Zoom and meet everyone. I don't know any of you on tonight except one I think I know is Jerry cousin. I'm looking for family on my mom's side and I don't know my dad, never knew. I don't know. Many people on my mom, I know a lot of them already deceased. But I'm just looking mainly just to know who I am, where I come from, and who I'm related to. So far, I have some information, but not enough. And I don't really have the time to just sit and dig around because I have other things going on in my life. That's about it with me. I'm just waiting on some help.
And
I have some help, but not enough. So
well,
I don't know where to start, or because I just can't sit here like most people and just dig around and find out information, because I just don't have the time to do it.
well, one thing that's happened since she's been on our meetings, you know, some of the members, they have located some of your family members, haven't they? They've helped you
Yeah,
identify some of your family members that you didn't know about.
it was you. It was about
Teresa, a number,
Teresa and
Iris,
um
Iris, Eddie,
Iris and
Eddie.
Eddie. I don't know the other two ladies, but I know their faces.
So what? So
And
what?
you know, my friend here in Brooksville with me.
So what?
So
The message is we all help uh, the, the the my beloved members. We help each other, and so
yeah,
and so if you have
but you also
questions,
got to try to help yourself, and see that's where my issue come in. Trying
well,
to,
well, you
you
said
know,
it. You said it. I didn't. But anyway,
I know it.
I just want to let it be known that on this platform
I said it. I
we help
did.
we help
I did.
everyone. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go into uh, the agenda. I'm gonna share my screen. Oh, I want to share this with you too. I just got some information uh, yesterday. One of our members, um, Betty Cass, she helps with Find a Grave. That's one of her topics she discusses. She had to have surgery on her knee
Oh.
today, as a matter of fact. So
Oh.
she
Okay.
fell. She fell and injured her knee, so she's having surgery on her knee. So pray for her.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Find a grave. That's the first one. So see this picture? Can you see this picture, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah. This is my grandfather. Let me put him over here. This is my grandfather, David Moss. And on here, when maybe it might have been about 5 or 6 months ago, when I looked at this bio information, it was wrong because there were a number of David Mosses, and the information that was on there was for a white person. And so here I am doing my research, and I find out here's my grandfather, and the information on his memorial is wrong. They had the right memorial. They had the right marker. There he is, but they had the wrong information. So with Find a Grave, whoever put that information in there at the bottom of this display, you can contact them and tell them you have the wrong information. Who manages this memorial? I have more current information. I have the correct information, and you show your documents, and then that person will release the information that he has and find a grave. The platform, they're very professional, and they'll make sure that this information is correct. And so if somebody just withholds information or has incorrect information and they don't want to change it, you submit it to Find a Grave platform, and they'll make that, it's like they're adjudicated, and then they'll make the right decision based off of the facts. So that being said, I did that with my grandfather, and that's why you see a photo was added by me. So I added the photo, and I added, the family member, my grandmother, his wife. I added that the uh, to the memorial. So you can change things, you can add things to uh, to bring the memorials up to date, records to the memorial, and you can send flowers, and you can be in charge of your family's history. And so if you don't, there's a lot of information that you can find engraved, and it's free. And you can research and find it by memorials, by cemeteries, and you'll find that a lot of our family members are in the same location, same cemeteries, or in the same area, because there wasn't a lot of traveling, years ago. And so I do take pride that now my name is on there, that I added photos that wasn't there, and I was able to update this information. So I'm just letting you know it's a powerful program, and it's a great tool to use, and it is free. And there's a lot of information on Find the Grave that I recommend that you look it up on YouTube, and then just to see some of the features, but also sign in so you have an account. And when you have an account there, you can find, like right here I have there's my name, so I do have an account, and it has all this information about more Moss memorials. And you can add a flower. I can leave a flower and tell it's my grandfather. And down at the bottom, you the memorials have an ID number, so you'll have the ID number, and that's associated with his memorial. So there's more things to go into it, but I just wanted to share that with you. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Mm-mm.
Any comments on Find a Grave? Has anyone used it very often? You have, Miranda?
I haven't used it, but Betty has for me.
Could you tell us what you've done with it, Miranda?
Um, let's see. I've looked up a lot of course, family members, ancestors. Some I've been able to get photos for, for the grave markers. Some I have not. And then it sometimes when you're looking at, let's just say, a death certificate, for instance, just recently, there was a death certificate for one of my, oh goodness, my great grandmother's, as a matter of fact. My aunt and I were looking at it, and it said that she was buried in the family plot. And we didn't even know there was a family plot out in Florida. And so now our next, we call it family treasures in a way, where we go and we just kind of, when we travel to different places, especially out in Florida, we try to find different things, whether it be African American history related, et cetera. But we're determined to try and see if there is a family plot in this one particular cemetery. So I haven't gone on find a grave as of today, because this was just yesterday. But the plan is to try to see if we can find a grave marker for her and my great grandfather. But previously, I have been able to find photos and just kind of look and see what other people have added. Because I personally haven't added anything like you've been able to do, but I've seen where you'll see where people have commented, different memories they had with that person, or they're providing photos, or like you said, send a flower, and that's just a virtual message, kind of, so to say. Um, and then, of course, sometimes, even though somebody is buried somewhere, I have found that it'll say no results found. Like in some of the veteran cemeteries, or some of the, just non-military cemeteries, so to say. So I'm thinking that I may start doing what others have been able to do and reach out and see if I can get a photo added to the memorial or the memory, because you can't always travel to some of these states. Because, for instance, for this
No.
particular person, it's the grave marker in the cemetery is way out in Rhode Island. Of course, I can go visit there, but right now I just can't. But I would love to be able to see the grave marker, because I wasn't able to attend the funeral. And that's a veteran cemetery, so I would really hope that they can add a photo for the family.
Thank you, Miranda.
You're welcome.
Denise?
Yeah, a couple things about cemeteries. I mentioned that I do a lot of work on Wikitree, and one of those is I'm a team leader for our African American Cemetery Project. So we do document or identify the memorials that are in each of these African American cemeteries when we find them. Something else we probably need to be aware of is that in several states like Florida, a lot of these African American cemeteries, development has taken over, modern development. So they've paved over some of these cemeteries, and some of these states have different organizations that are actually doing the research and working with college teams to take some equipment, do ground penetration search of some of these locations to identify who was interred there, because they're not always removed when they dig them up and do the development. So that could be a place to look as well. Is check with the historical society in that area. If
Okay.
there is an African American historical society in that area, they would be more apt to help you, and may already have that information available. But
Okay.
another option, I also turn to local funeral homes, because they
Yeah.
can also still have records that can tell you who's been interred in the various cemeteries, whether it's an African American cemetery or not.
Okay.
Um, I just saw an article where Arlington Cemetery is taking down their links to um, African American and Hispanic Medal of Honor winners and
Okay.
things of that nature. So there's an organization that's working to try to identify those people that were on those links. They're not removing the graves, and if you
Okay.
can't visit the grave, you need somebody else that's local that can do the legwork for you. So don't be afraid to ask for that. You're right on target by asking for photos, but you can also ask them to look for grave sites
Oh.
if they're there, not just photos. They'll take a photo if it
Hmm.
exists, but also ask them to look for the grave sites.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any other questions on Find a Grave? Okay. We're going to the next item, which is GEDmatch.
Mm.
GEDmatch, here it is. Well, can you see this? display here. GEDmatch is pretty big. Can you all see that?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So here's what it is. Here's GEDmatch, and it has my name, my email. This is it's a kit number. It's called a GEDmatch kit number. So what I did is each one of you who did an ancestry test or whatever platform, you have a raw DNA file that you upload to GEDmatch. That's that Amazon DNA platform. And I've done that. And then they give you a kit number. And so you have a kit number, and then they compare your raw data with all the data that they have from other people. And then you can start. See, that's different from Ancestry, MyHeritage, and 23andMe. So here's an example. There is my kit number. My kit number is right here. SE968735. That's my kit number. Miranda has a kit number. Denise has a kit number that I know of. And what we do is we compare them on that ancestry platform, and then we can find out who is related to us, who has shared DNA. And we just saw that description that I gave. So and here's some of the things that you can do with it. I'm just going to show you a couple of them. Over on the right, you see this. Here's what. Upload your DNA. And you can upload it from 23andMe, Family Tree DNA, Ancestry, and most others right there. And these are free tools because it's free. GEDmatch is free too, and until you want to do more research, then you can pay more for it. You can pay $10 for another tier, with chromosomes and triangulation. I'm using these prodigious words, and I don't know what the hell they mean. Anyway.
So, Jerry, when you say another tier, you just mean like another level of the membership to be able to do more of the research.
Correct.
Okay. I just thought I would try to help break that word down because that was confusing me a little bit.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it. All right. So here's some of the free tools. There's one to many original. So all these people who uploaded theirs, I'm gonna show you my results. I'm gonna click on this and I'm gonna see who else matches me. And remember, the central mortgage, the higher the number, the closer they are related to me. So I'm gonna come right down here. I'm gonna do one to many original version. Click that one. And the kit number is my kit number. And I'm going to display my results. This. Click it. And look at this. Here's the numbers. You see these numbers? Here's the kit number on the left, the name, their email address, and notes. And then this shows you how close they are related to you. And that's why these numbers are high. The total central mortgage. Remember I talked about the measurements? This first one is my grandson, DeLon. It says Young Moss. And remember I told you that they're about 1,700? Well, his is about 1,900. It's me, 7,000, and my daughter, Bridget, she's 3,500. And this is her son, DeLon, 1,900. Hey, D. Moss. D. Moss. And so over here, and so watch, it comes over like this. And look at this. Going around. This shows the test sites. You see this, the testing company, Ancestry, my uh, my uh, my my heritage, um, family tree DNA. So it tells the company and 23andMe. So I would have never known them if they didn't upload their files to this here DNA platform. And so this is my grandson, and I I loaded his I loaded his DNA up to GEDmatch, and so that's why he shows up the highest. And then you start seeing these other ones because the lines was, let me show this again. Central Morgans, the measurement. Let me see.
Maybe the back button? Maybe? Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
But I'm gonna do it again. There it is. Now you see the 1928 over here, the total Central Morgans. Can y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm lost. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to meet you as well.
Jerry Moss's grandson. It means a lot. Getting to connect with different family members and family across the country that I haven't known, but I get to dig deeper and get to eventually meet them one day. Family all across the world. There's people that you're related to that you don't know about. So it's good to go through these steps and just dig deep in family history to get 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 information about our family that people don't ask about or people wonder about, but through DNA and ancestry, they give us all the tools and the answers that we're looking for is right here. So it means a lot, definitely. And for somebody young, my generation, my age, our generation doesn't really think about these things until it's too late. So it's good to get on it now and you know dig in and find about family members. My dad's side, I get to learn more about my dad's side, my great grandmother that's from Louisiana. So it really does help. And they're my dad and them, they're wondering about family members that they haven't seen. So when Grandpa digs deep, he'll give me information. And it just, the answers that they get, the questions that we have to get the answer to them. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Salute, King. Appreciate you, man. I wish I was your age that did it. I'm down there 60. Good
Right.
luck,
Yeah.
man. Good
Oh,
blessings with it.
thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm gonna do it for my daughter's side too. Or we're gonna do my daughter's DNA to get her mother's side, and so they can have, if they have any questions about their family, they we can have it for them because DNA and family, that's all we got. So
Mm-hmm.
just going into our deep in our roots, you know more about yourself.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
You guys have any questions for me? Grandpa wanted me to ask.
Let's see. Do you find? Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, D Moss, cousin. My
Yes.
name is Miranda Hazard, and let's see. Just real briefly, I met your dad through the San Diego African American Genealogy Research Group,
Okay.
and we found through GEDmatch that we are a match, a DNA
Yes.
match,
Right.
and so it's been very interesting, on the calls and the Zooms and things, just learning, all
Right.
that I can. But how often do you find yourself doing research?
Well, when my grandpa does it, I do research on my own. and I don't really go on Ancestry. I try to go on Facebook and find family members, and if I get names, then we'll go to Ancestry. But it's deep because I want to learn more about my dad's side of the family, and
Okay.
my great grandfather that's in Louisiana, so I want to learn about that side. So it's something I would like to get more into and dig deep, and then try to get younger people in my generation in on these meetings with you guys too, so they can learn more because they don't know nothing about their family or past. So this gives us an opportunity to to learn more.
That's true.
It's very helpful.
All
And I
right.
see he really likes it. He's excited about getting back and making the meetings. So it just gives us something to look forward to and just to learn more about everybody in our family.
Definitely. I agree.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Well, it was nice meeting you guys. I appreciate it. And I'll definitely make sure I do my part on my end with my age group and my younger siblings. So I appreciate you guys.
All right. Thank you. Good to meet you.
Yes, likewise, King. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Yes. Okay.
Jerry, this is Yvette. I have to jump off and go and pick up my grandson. So I just wanted to say thank you for this evening. I'll try and join on the future meetings as well. And nice to meet everyone.
And thanks, Yvette. And please
Have a
look at
good
those
night.
documents, Yvette, because I'll need to talk to you about them. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Thank you so
You take
much.
care. You're welcome. Bye bye.
So thank you, everyone, for being so kind to my grandson, Delon. We have to pass the torch.
Mhm. That's right.
So, do you have any other questions on GEDmatch?
Mhm.
Okay. Let's go to Ancestry New Pro Tools Edition. Pro Tools, my tree. So, can you see my Ancestry page, homepage? See the Ancestry homepage? Can you? Because I'll make
Yes.
okay. So on the homepage, now I did have to pay more for this Pro Tools from the basic Ancestry, but it has a lot of tools that it's worth the investment. I believe it was about $10 more a month from the regular. But here's the Pro Tools shortcuts. More on Pro Tools. What it'll do, you can check your tree. You can if you have doubles, duplicate people in your tree, it'll help you eliminate the duplications and save the information from one person to another person and eliminate the ones that's double. And it has matches. You can have a report. It creates a report for your example of a report. Can you see this portion of it? This is my Moss Senior 23 tree. You don't need to see the details, but look, I asked for three generations, but I can go 5 generations, and then it applies 6 generations. It adds more people to the charts, and you can look at this. This is my tree, and this is the Pro Tools now. You can use this tool. It takes the people out of my tree and puts it in text so we can understand it. Like generation 1. Here I am, generation 2, my dad's generation, and then his And then his father's generation, and generation 4, their names, generation 5. It breaks it down for generation 6. Isn't that helpful? From a tree, they give you a report like this. And then you can print it out in the PDF file. And what you can do is you can send it to other relatives who are a little less experienced. And
Mhm.
you can send them, this is our family history based to the best of my ability. And you can just send them a document. They can just open it up. This is my family history right here. So I'm
That
just
is
letting you.
awesome.
Mhm.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Generation 6. So that's as far as mine goes back on this one. And it prints it out right there for you. You save it and it gives you a report. So I just want to share that with you. That's
Wow.
one of the tools, the pro tool. Let's go back. Now, when I said tree checker, let's just take a look at this again. Tree
Mhm.
checker. Look what it says. Possible duplicates. I have There's out of 1,360 people in my tree, there's possible 2 people who are duplicates. And what it does is, see, because I went through and changed them, I didn't want to have a lot of overlap. Like double R, when somebody comes and checks my work, I don't want to have 5 or 6 of the same person in my tree.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right.
And so the first thing I do is glean as much information as I can from one person and save it to the correct person. And then it eliminates those other ones. And then you have a real tight tree. And I'll be frank with you. One of my trees I've done a lot of work on, it's private. It's my go-to, it's my go-to tree that I really spend some time with. Some things you gotta have on the safe, lock and key.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now from time to time, I might copy it and then open it up and change it to like I might change the name, my new one to 2024, 2025. And then I'll let you see that information. But we do a lot of work. We spend a lot of time to get this information that we have. And some people, they're just looking at what they can get. They're not conscious. They'll go in and change some of your information. Um,
Mhm.
and when it's public, or they use it against you. So
Mhm.
some of my information is private, and then when I need it for say reparations, I'll give them that tree private one. I'll let
Mhm.
them see that, but I won't let just anybody. Because let me tell you what happens on some of these public trees. But let me finish here. So that's how you deal with your duplications. And some of the people in my tree, I don't have documentations. I can add that. And so that's what this does. It goes through your trees and you can change it. So that's what this portion is. And
Mhm.
my tree has about an 8.1 rating. So that means I've been doing pretty good work out of 10.
Wow.
Yeah, that one is. Oh, here's what I wanted to share with you. Somebody else used some of the pictures out of my tree
Mhm.
and they put it on their tree and had put the pictures in the wrong spot. They put a
Mm.
mother where the grandmother is. You know, they call themselves, you know, doing well. It's sort of insulting, and it's your picture, and they have wrong people. They put them in the wrong location in their tree, and you can't tell them very much because they know it all, and they took it from me. See, and they are my people, so I have to deal with them. In private, I have to pull it to the side and say, "Look here, young bud, young lady. We have to work with this here before you do this or that. Please confirm. We got to teach them DNA etiquette. Now, with the Ancestry, here's my tree. This is the home page. And what I do, I come to the home page every time when I turn on my machine, computer, I look at it. And here's all the information. And potential ancestors, you can get that. Daily picks, hints, and here's the one that I use a lot. This is how a lot of us had connected. Hints of the census, Jerry Brent's new matches. Every 2 or 3 days, new matches turn up in your pictures. And then you can look at them. And see, here's a new one. Here's two of them. They're like, here's two people. They're fourth cousins. So if they're fourth cousins, let me show you what their centromorgans are, for example. This is somebody I don't know, but when I turn on my computer, I know they're closer to me. So I might invest in sending them out a reach out bait message, because there's more of an opportunity of me connecting with them than somebody who's fifth through eighth connection. Do you understand that? And some people they won't even talk to you if you centromorgans 9, 10, and 11. They won't even talk to you. They have a higher threshold that they communicate with you. You have to be closely related to them before they'll even respond to you. But anyway, here's what I would do. Here's Stephen, and here's Jackson. Let's look at her. I look at this new. Now I know they're relatives with me because they're showing up in my right here, right on the home page. And she matches me 23 centromorgans across one segment. So somebody else is managing her kit. So let me take a look at that person. And again, they just signed in February 2025, but this AJ is the one. So I'm not going to deal with them right now. I want to get to another one. So let's go to this other person. That was his fourth cousin. Let's go Stephanie Daniel. Stephanie Daniel. Now she's 22 centromorgans one segment, and let's see what I'll look up first where she lives. Okay, she's 2018, and it gives a little information. She's been a member since 2018, but she matches me. She's like a cousin. She has a tree with 7 people in it, and it has her ethnicity and things. And so I'll come in here and do a shared match. And here we go. And I've already separated Reggie, my grandparents, and I gave them a color, my mother's side and my father's side. So this person here, Stephanie Daniel, shared matches. She matches me. She matches my daughter Bridget. See that? Bridget she's 3,400 centromorgans. That's my daughter. And here's my brother Dale, 2,600 centromorgans. But Stephanie matches them 22, 22. So here's this Pro Tools working. It's like you can triangulate. And let me go down. And so I'll look at that person, and here's 1,700. That's my nephew. But sometimes over here on this side, Stephanie's, Daniels, you'll see a real long, big number in the centromorgans. And then they might not know who this person is, but you'll be able to tell them and help them find who their relatives are. That's 1 or 2, and here's 2. And they're all they're small, but sometimes I find a mother or father over on this other side. And then what I do is I know that that this is where you come fishing. I do a lot of fishing. And this is where I go deep sea fishing for DNA relatives. This is how I met a lot of you who are mine. So number one, I do a share match. I know here's my mother's side, my father's side, and okay, here it is, my father. See that F, father's side. So they matching me on my father's side. So what I'll do is over here in my notes, right up at the top, we all have notes. I have the more you tell about yourself when you're researching, the better your bait is, the more chances are you're going to get somebody to respond. So here's my reach out bait message. I'm gonna copy it over here. I copy it right there, copy, and I go to this last person, Stephanie Daniel. I know she's on my father's side, so first of all, I add her to the group, my father's side, and then I send a message right down here. Here she comes. And I want each of you to have your own message. And then I go right here where it says type a message, double click, and I'll paste it. So that's my reach out text message. And in greeting new cousin, instead of this regular, I use this name of this. I'll go back. New cousin
Definitely.
STEVAN. And here's I hope you're doing well. You related to me on my father's side. Now, if it would have been my mother's side, I would have just changed this to an MO. And I tell them about myself, what my name is, where I live, um, my number, and the people who I'm researching. I got a couple of those names in there on my mother's side, my father's side. I even give them my GEDmatch Kit number. So there that is for those who. And I tell them where I was born in Nebraska and where my father's family's from, where they're originally from. And I tell them about this group. See that? And you can join these meetings by tablets and all this other stuff. And let me know if you want me to host a private Zoom meeting. You'll be the co-host, which requires you to get the emails and phone numbers of the people you want to participate in. And I will send them the Zoom link. So you see that? And then I send that. Now remember, I'm sending it out in the ocean of DNA. But I didn't have to type that all over again, did I? I just changed two things, the name and the MO for my mother's side and my father's side. Everything else is the same. And then I send it. Bingo. It's out in the ocean. And just like there was an Al Davis that was on here earlier, he was talking about, he knew the Mosses, and he was talking about my great uncle, James Monroe. He was going through the details. So what happened is there it is, it's out there. And then what happens is I get at different times, I get a response. So here's an example of one of the responses. Look at this long response. This person, Aaron Ellis, he shared results with his mother because he couldn't establish a clear. So my mother shared a few recent family reservations and started talking about things. So there's that one. Another person, Bobby Johnson. They don't know much but I'm trying to figure it out, and it's a pleasure meeting me. Here's Joe Davis. He was just on today. I sent this to him March the 12th, and I got a ring. Joe Davis is a win because he knows my family. I sent enough information out there, and then here's what he comes back with. Joe Davis. I sent that out there. Here's what he says. Hi, cousin Jerry. I see you have been quite busy compiling a wealth of information, which is great. My mother passed a few months ago. I was trying to build a pretty big family tree for her to see before she passed until I fell short for what I wanted to do. So, during the grieving process of her loss, along with finalizing all her family affairs, I think you were on the Zoom call a year ago that James Monroe family hosted. And that's the one with
Yes,
Yvette. You see that?
yes, I was.
Okay, there he is. And he says, I am related also to Tommy Lewis, also through DNA. That's the white cousin of mine. That's DNA. And he gave me his number, his cell number, and his email address. And please add me to the Zoom calls. I would like to share some information and fill in some of the possible gaps on James Monroe Moss, my great grandfather. He shares stories. His oldest son is 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 uh Joe's grandfather. He shares stories about him quite a bit as a kid that I still remember. And so today I heard from Joe, and Joe filled in some of those stories, didn't you, Joe?
Yep.
Isn't this a blessing?
Yes.
Joe, what did it mean to see my reach out uh bait message? What did it mean to see that?
It meant a lot. I mean, like I said, there was always I knew I had family in Omaha, Nebraska. My grandfather constantly kept instilling that into me because I was always the grandson that always sat down at the and listened. And he always said that we have family in Omaha, Nebraska. So I always was curious of who that was and so forth. And I know he had other brothers and sisters, and I knew about them being a Pullman.
Yeah, those Pullman Porters were his brothers.
Right.
Have you seen pictures of them?
I've seen a few that were shared, but I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen all of them. And then as I was going building the tree, I was seeing all these people. I was like, wow, all these brothers. I was like, wow.
And so, my beloved members, this is invaluable. This is a whale. Joe's a whale. You see, reaching out to him, he matched me, but he matches me 20 centimorgans across one segment. So I just reached out to him. I didn't know him, but I knew he was on my mother's side. I'm on my father's side. So I reached out with him. I sent that reach out text message, and look what we got. We got a whale in the meeting right now. DNA cousin. That you don't get no closer than that. Tell me is DNA powerful now? This
It
is what
is.
this is what I focus on. I like doing the research in the past, but to see while I'm still alive, to see my DNA relatives now in the flesh, that's invaluable. So that's my purpose. And for him to share his information, and then I get a chance to, well, let me give you a bit more, this clarified a little bit. Hey, I ain't gonna mess with him. It's iron sharpened iron. I'm gonna be kind about it. Even though he has some information and he's enthusiastic about it. Come on now, I love that. So that's when we share information in a positive way, and it brings a lot of joy in my heart. And Joe, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. So,
For doing what you do, for connect everybody.
so,
Right.
so that's an example of the Pro Tool. I want to show you one other thing with the Pro Tool. Let's go to the matches. because this young let's see, the young lady, it's Deidre.
Uh-huh.
Here's what Pro Tool does, and I think the regular one does too. On your matches, these are my share matches. Oh, and I'm gonna show you. I mentioned the numbers. I want to show you some facts.
Okay.
Now with my kids and my family, brothers and sisters, cousins, and all of them. Now I use positive persuasion. I want as many people, family members, to get tested. And then my family members get tested. Now initially, I got resistance, but I used positive persuasion.
I'm getting my daughter to do it.
And, and they took the test.
Good.
And so now when I do a shared match, look at this. The first one is my son, Jerry Moss Jr. Look, he's 34 more, 3,400. That's my son. I had a note. Jerry Moss Jr. is Jerry Moss Sr.'s son who lives in Long Beach. I put a note on it. Donnell Gooden, look at him. He's 3,400. That's my other son from another mother, but he's still my
Mhm.
son. He's still
Right.
3,400. Come
Right.
on now. And he's 3,400. And then right after them, here's my daughter Bridget. There she is right here. That's the line. You just saw. That's his mother. She's
Mhm.
3,400.
Yeah, she also came up on my list as relatives. Your daughter.
Come on now. Come on. There's enough to go around now. There she
Yes, it
is.
is.
So that's my daughter. And then this is my brother Dale. He's 2,600 centimorgan. So look at these big numbers. Because I had my people take tests. So that's why I'm sitting up here with all these big numbers and I know who they are. And,
Right.
and my granddaughter, she's 1,900. There she is. And Delon, you just saw him. That's Donnell's daughter. And my son Donnell, his daughter is Destiny. And Delon, he's 1,800, and that's Bridget's son. So there they are. And I want to share this one with you right here. Dale Dale Moss right here. He's 1,700. That's my nephew. That's my brother's son, Dale
Wow.
Moss. And a little history on Dale Moss Jr. Dale Moss Jr. He what a few years ago he was on the the Bachelorette, the Bachelorette,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah, I think I heard you say that in one of the YouTube videos.
yeah, he was on there with this Claire. Claire was her name. She was
Oh, okay.
and that lady within 2 weeks of filming the show, she told them, I don't want to go through this thing. I found who I want. I want Dale Moss Jr. So they shut the show down. My brother, my nephew, he won the Bachelorette. Boy, he had a
Okay,
tie.
good.
Her name was Claire. Claire, and you can Google it, Claire and Dale Moss, Dale Moss Jr. He got
Okay.
he got him a tiger by the tail.
Yeah.
That that Hollywood stuff. But
Mhm.
he won the Bachelorette. He was the bachelor that she chose. They didn't get
Okay.
they didn't
Good.
get married, but
Oh no.
I don't know. Eventually, eventually it did. Eventually,
Thought they
yeah,
were add to the family.
yeah. No, mm-mm. But anyway, that's my nephew Dale Moss Jr. And he played football with Green Bay.
Oh, okay.
He played with the Green Bay Packers and just from the country, South South Dakota, the Midwest. All of us are from the Midwest, Nebraska, and he went to South Dakota State, and then from there
Oh, okay.
played for the Green Bay Packers. But
Okay,
anyway,
that's good.
So these are the numbers. So I was just showing you. Look at these big numbers, and I know all of them. And then I put a father side, mother side. That's why I put the M for mother and F for fathers. Now watch this too. I'm gonna show you this one. This is what. Now your matches. You mentioned you had all these different matches. So here's now this is all of them. That first one. Now I want to match by parents. Some of you don't know your mother's side or your father's side. So you click this right here by parent. But this is Pro Tools now. And look at this. These are the people on my paternal side. You see?
Excuse me,
Now,
Jerry.
go
You know
ahead.
you're not sharing your screen, right?
No, well, let me get it. That's what you're here for.
You're pointing to stuff you're seeing, but nobody else can see it.
Okay, we sure gonna straighten it out. You see that? Can you see it?
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So on my matches, um, this is the one that's all. It has all of them. That's where my kids and all of them are. And I recommend when you give out a test to someone, you see these.
The ancestry test.
There's y'all them y'all them tests.
Ooh, yeah, I see them. That's a lot.
I just bought two of them a couple of days ago at $39 a piece, but they're
Oh, okay.
invaluable. They're worth they're invaluable. But anyway, and that's why some people that if you bless share and we helped each other send tests to them, set up accounts so they can you teach a person how if you give a person a fish they eat you feed them for a day, but if you teach them how
Right.
to fish they
Mm-hmm.
they eat for a lifetime.
That's true.
And so now I have individuals in my beloved family and friends who have their own and they're making their own creations and they connecting with their own families. They and they're awesome. They're just making it well worth it for me. That investment that I made and what they did with it, the harvest has been awesome.
Right.
I'm just thankful I was able to give them that seed, and then they did all the work cultivating and making the connection. They awesome, my cousin.
That's good.
So here it is. Here it is. That's all of them. And here's my parent. I want to show you real quick. So number the parents. Look at these. These are the man. Can you see this parent, maternal and
Mm-hmm.
paternal?
I can see it.
Okay, that's how they separated for you. So they do you a favor if you don't know who your father's side of the family are. They ancestry's already done it, and they do it to a real high percentage. So all I'm gonna view these matches, and these are for on my father's side of the family. All these people are on my father's side of the family, and I put that F. I gave them a group, and there they are. Here's Al. These are on my father's side of the family. So see all these F's, and look at their
Mm-hmm.
significance: 1300, 888, 7. They they broke them out for me, and see the numbers get lower as you go down. You see that?
Right.
But these are the relatives of my father's side of the family. So then, okay, I do by parent, and I say my mother's side. There's 9,500, just like you said, young lady. So on hers, I'll view the relations with them. And here they all are. All these, what, 1,000, 500. They're all 300. They're all my mother's side of family. So they pick it out for you. So if you gave me your tree, if I was a collaborator on your tree, let me be a collaborator or help manage your tree. If you don't have this program I have, you won't see that. But
Okay.
if you allow me to be your manager, I can show you this information for you. It'll break it out for you just like that.
Okay. Okay.
And so that's those. And then one other thing, by ancestor. Watch this. So that's my parents. So y'all saw that, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all have any questions on that?
No, I just have to upgrade my membership so I can open that browser because it has mine locked.
Okay. And the other thing too, what it does when you do your reach out text message, what I was able to do, I added these names. In my reach out text message at the top, I added Burnell, Jackson, Joe, and Moss. Because it says these are the most common last names which can be found in the trees of your closest paternal matches. So I put
Wow.
those names in my reach out text message. And I
Okay.
and I did the same thing for my mother's. My reach out text message, I used the Ellison Gray text and the same thing with them. And this is both sides of my family. There's about 20, there's people who match
Okay.
both sides of my family. And so it'll show you who they are. Now, one other thing. Though we have DNA matches, and a lot of people they have trees in Ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
And Denise she understands the value of having accurate trees with this Wikitree. And so some people don't have fact information in their trees. But what Ancestry does, they take my tree, your tree, they take this tree, and then they give you a possible ancestor, and they show you possibly how you connected with them by ancestor, common ancestor. So this says by ancestor. So let me click on that and look what it does. This is called
Oh wow.
it's called through lines. And what it is, it has my mother and my father, and here's my four grandparents, my grandfather on my mother's side, and my grandmother on my mother's side, grandfather on my father's side, and grandmother on my mother's side. Now look, it says 6 matches. You see, it's telling you they got 6 matches there. But let's go down a couple more generations so I can get more people. And this cuts some of your
Whoa.
research. I'm gonna go down to like my second grandfather. Yeah. They said there's 61 matches. What they did is they went through Ancestry, and there's 61 DNA matches that matches me through this gentleman here. Um, second great grandfather. So watch what I do when I click this. And let me know if you see it.
Whoa, I see it.
Okay,
Oh,
you see,
wow.
y'all can see that.
Wow.
And
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
so what happens is look at these people. Now there's people, this person, even though she's 9 centimorgans, she's in Ancestry, this platform. And I'll click this 3, this Jasmine, and it shows where at. Here's the second great grandfather, and here's my great grandfather, and this is his brother. And it
Mm-hmm.
comes down his brother line to this person. And there she is.
Oh.
So I can reach out and to talk to her
Okay.
and tell her that I'm related to you. Even though it's 9 centimorgans, I can tell them, look how much work that's done for me. Here's another, look at Edward Burnell. There's 26 DNA matches. I'm gonna do this. They call these flyouts. Click on that. And look at all these people. Let me go over some. Here's Maddie Burnell, and there's two. Here's one 13, but it tells who Maddie Burnell is. And then
Mm-hmm.
their kid, and then here's the one that's matching me now. So I can reach out to that person, send them one of my reach out fake messages and say, you
Mm-hmm.
related to me on the Burnell side right here. So that person, really? I didn't know that. Here's Neville. There's two DNA matches. Click on that. Here they are. They got their names. Here's one that's 54 Morgan's. James Reed Jr., and I can contact him. Warren Guest, and here's Quarles. Here's three Thorns. Here they are. Here's 50, 33, 51, and then BC. Oh, Copeland. And here's how they're related to me. So that's what Two Lines does. You can find your relatives by your ancestry. And the bigger you have your tree, the more current DNA matches you can find. So that's why you got to study and work on your tree. And so,
Mm-hmm.
so one other one, Reggie, he likes this one. By location. I'll show you your matches by location. By location. You click on by location, and look what happens. It loaded up all my matches that I matched in Ancestry, and they show me where they live at. See, can you still see this? I need to share my screen.
Yeah, I see it.
I can see it too.
Okay, and here they are in Arizona. There's somebody in Tucson. There's
Wow.
there's people over here right about where
Oh my goodness.
they're stopped. Oh, see. Oh, look at
I
this one.
wonder, do they know each other, or do they know that they live in the same, like
Kind of
almost by each
vicinity.
other?
No, they don't. The majority of them don't because remember, we the eagles. We're the ones that's flying high.
Right, right,
We're on a different level. My beloved friends, members, we're on a different level. A lot of people don't know what we know.
right,
That's why we're teaching each other so that you can share with others.
right,
Okay? Now look at that.
right.
And this one, Trenton Stanford, for example. Look, it says close family. Watch this. You click on him like that, and there he is. He's he's a grandnephew of mine.
Wow.
Wow.
See? And I know it's from one of my it's my half sister. It's her grandson. My half sister. It's her
Oh, okay.
grandson. So that's why he's a grandnephew on my dad's side. And so there
Wow.
Mhm.
and I've talked to his father and who's my nephew. See, but let's go back to this picture. Say it again. I was down here in San Diego. Can you? I'm getting a bit. Let me make sure you got. All right, now, can you see this here?
Mhm.
Okay. Here, I have a relative, uh, Arena Brown. I didn't know her, but I connected with her and I found out she lives in San Diego. And so I was able to
Oh,
contact her, and her dad lives in Omaha. And so she's out here in San Diego. So I met her, and then we'll go back up. Uh, and Menifee, hey, there's a Menifee up there, double R, named R.C. Addison. He's in the Menifee, Moreno Valley. They have their names, and then over here in L Garden Grove, it has where they at.
Wow.
Sugar Hill,
Mm-hmm.
um, Lakewood, and I come back out up here in the Bay Area. You say that has their names. We have them over in this side, and so it shows you a picture of them who they are, and so you can see how this can be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You show right where they're at, and then you reach out and touch them. And then my hometown, I didn't know some of the people who were in my hometown, and then I come up here, here's Omaha, and there's two match me in Omaha, and there they are. I know
Wow.
I know Agnes. No, I know LaShawn Bell. She's close family. That's my brother's daughter. So that's my niece.
Okay.
But this one here, Agnes Perkins, she's extended family. She's pretty close. Look what she did. She matches me 261 Central Morgans. And I
Wow.
and I reached out to her and she didn't want to respond. What found
Oh, wow.
what I found out is they were on my like if I do a Agnes person share no, share matches. Look at her. She's pretty high. She,
Mm.
she matches Jerry, Donnell, my kids. She matches them. And then on this side, has these numbers 131, 134. So she's a close cousin. And what happened is sometimes when the man has kids, the mothers keep maiden name. They don't have the name.
Mm-hmm.
They keep their mother's name. They don't have that. But this DNA flushed them out. And I did talk with one of the cousins, and he told the story. Like everybody has a story, and it's a Burnell. Now you might have a surname, and I don't get all hung up on surname. I focus on the DNA. Sometimes they don't want to hear the truth, but here it is, right here. And another
Mhm.
thing, she put her, she took the test. Why did she take the test?
Right. Because she had questions.
Yeah. So that's where we at, everyone. And I just want to. That's the that's where we're at. I have. Go ahead, Denise.
Oh, I just wanted to make a comment as you go through there. When you were looking at the through lines, just a warning that Ancestry is using the other trees within its database to make those matches for you. And sometimes they can be incorrect. So don't take what you see there as gospel, just consider it a hint.
Yeah.
And then continue to do your research based on what you see there. Because again, you're relying on what somebody else has entered in their tree as well as what you have in your tree.
Yeah, that's very important.
That is true.
That is the truth. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so thank you so much for that. Somebody else has a raised hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is me, cousin. Yeah, I mean, I see when you did the locations, man. Just think about that's just a fraction of the people who signed up. If we can get, you know, you're talking about 48 million here in the United States. That's not even scratching the surface that we see that who our people are. And to
Right.
Miss Via left, she did. I don't know if you was reading the text. Read the text. She said. Let's see. She said, "Hello. I came back. I was told that there are sites and ways to have DNA tests done free. Please advise. I feel I'll have more questions and have a better understanding once my DNA is done. I gave her a thumbs up. I think she left, but I put that via Ancestry DNA is most powerful that I know. But yes, they do have some free ways, and we will discuss that with you. However, today is a day that I will bless you with the Ancestry's kit, and once you get it done, you don't have to pay anything. And that's just what Jerry taught me. I've been catching them on sale, and like Jerry uh, did, I was going to pay it forward to another person as well. But I have her phone number, so hopefully I can get in touch with her, and she'll be back on here once I talk to her. So I just wanted to say that. All right.
Hey, thank you, Double R. Does anyone have any questions on the Pro Tools presentation? Go ahead.
Just real quick, as far as the part where it kind of finds your what do you call it, your duplicate matches,
Yeah.
is because I've selected that, and I've, there, I know that I have duplicates, but how does it actually get rid of them? Is there a way just to click on something and it just, kind of wipes them out, or do you have to kind of do some work with it and
Yeah, you do. You,
comparisons? Okay.
it Go ahead, Denise.
Yeah, there's a merge functionality within Ancestry. So
That's
you can merge the two profiles together.
okay.
And as you do that merge, then you can go through and look and make sure the information that you want to keep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because one profile may have incorrect information or not enough information. So when
Mm,
you do that merge, you can go back through and clean it up.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So thank you so much. Uh, Denise, would you please give us a presentation on Wikitree and the value of it and what it means to how helpful it can be, especially after these, what Double R was saying about records that you can get that are the cost is minimal, if not no cost.
Sure. Here, let me
This is
go
Denise
ahead.
Jarrett, and she's one of the administrators of Wikitree, a very important program, and for a distinguished Black woman to have this kind of expertise, we really appreciate her participating in the meeting. So I would
Yeah,
be
and also a
remiss.
genealogist. He says she's not, but we salute you, Queen. It come from
Hey, hey, Double R, it's your show, and I want you to
Yeah,
know. Excuse me, just one more other thing, and I want you to know that even though we have a few of we have a different number of people on these meetings, what this is, we're like on the playing field. But these recordings, they go out to over 400 people. That's who we have in our Moss Gildon genealogy database. So it goes out to over 400 people who are DNA matches or who are a part of this genealogy research group. So everything you share, it's been it's been spread throughout the world. Go ahead,
yeah.
Denise.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my navigation page. I mean, anyone can access Wikitree, even if you're not a member. However, I would strongly encourage everyone to become members because this is a global tree and it's 100% free. You don't have to pay an additional cost to be a member of Wikitree. Um, Basically, what it does, it allows you to add the information that you have collected on your family, add them to Wikitree, and then you'll be able to see some of the other wonderful things that Wikitree can do for you that none of the other sites can do. Every site, Ancestry, 23andMe, MyHeritage, they all have something special about each one of their sites, and Wikitree is no different. Here, what you see is just a basic navigation page, and every new member, if you choose to join, you'll be asked to also participate in what we call an honor code. You can be a guest member, but then if you complete that honor code, which basically says, I'm going to be nice to everybody, I'm not going to use derogatory language. I'm going to be diligent about putting accurate information out there. Then you become a full-fledged member of Wikitree. So it's nothing earth-shattering. We're not going to ask for your last born or firstborn or anything like that. It's just, just basic information on being nice. And, sometimes you get people out here that say things that, especially if you're African American, keep in mind that we are just a small percentage of the users on this tree. So there's still some that are learning about how to relate to African Americans or Native Americans and things of that nature. So it's okay to straighten them out, but straighten them out nicely. Okay. Just keep that. I want to be straight and honest with you because I've had to deal with people like that, during my short time on Wikitree. I've been a member since 2020. So, but again, we have a variety of help pages that explain what the guidelines are in terms of the information that you put out there. Also explains the privacy of the information. So, for example, this says that my history is private. Yes, it is. However, there's 8 different levels of privacy. Let me see if I can go here and I can show you. Yeah, because there's a big difference between private information and public information. So I'm sorry, I said 8. There's 7 different levels of privacy. And first and foremost is unlisted. So if you're a living individual and you create a profile for somebody else in your family that's living as well, they will be unlisted if they have not given you permission to add their profile. So unlisted means nobody can see it. When you go to that profile, it's just going to say living and have their last name, and that's it. You can't see anything else. You don't know what sex they are. You don't know their birth date. None of that information. Private means just that. The public can see just a limited amount of information when you say you want private. There's also another level of private where they can actually see your first name, any nicknames that you have, if you have spouses or siblings, children, any personal memories that you put out there about that person, which I strongly suggest. There's nothing worse with folks that are doing family history, but they can't tell you about the people. Just names and dates is not enough. So if we were going to do a biography for Jerry, we'd want folks to know how instrumental he is in promoting family history among family, making sure that everybody knows that.
Yes.
Going out and buying kits and giving them away just to encourage them. Those are the types of things. And if you have memories like that about your family, you want to include those memories on their profile page. Again, public information, again, your name, first name, last name. If you have any prefix designations like doctor or colonel or sergeant, admiral, whatever it is, you can include that prefix. Your suffixes would be like, are you a senior like Jerry is, or are you a junior? Are you the third, Jerry Brent Moss the third, or the fourth, or the fifth? You may want to do like George Foreman and name everybody after you. But you can make that designation in the suffixes. So that's pretty good. Now, one of the other cool things about this tool, one of my favorites, is the connections. So as you can see right now, I'm still working on adding my connections. I've got over 5,000 connections right now, but that's basically telling
Wow.
you how many people are connected to you. They're either blood related or they're not blood related. They may be connected through marriage, and you can see that. One of the coolest features would be like Wikitree every week features some new people. This week, it looks like we've got political folks, or maybe not. So you can see here, I'm 15 degrees from Patrick Henry, but I'm also 15 degrees from Miss Beyonce Knowles. That's
Mm.
pretty exciting. So let's see how Beyonce and I are connected. So it's showing it. It starts with me here. So it looks like, oh, daggone, our connection is on my husband's side of the family, which isn't surprising. Most of my connections are coming from my husband's side of the family. But my brother-in-law, Joe Douillon, is actually a Creole from Louisiana. And of course, that's where
Oh,
Beyonce's family is from, that New
yeah.
Orleans area. Um, so this is showing, the different marriages. Every time it changes color, that's a different marriage. So when we get down to the Durrells and then the Ackers, Herbert, and then Boyance, which is where Beyonce's name came from. So these are her relatives, her ancestors. And this is showing there's her mom and there's Beyonce. And this is showing how she and I are connected. So
Wow.
next time I'm in Texas, I'll have to holler at her and say, hey, cuz.
That is really neat.
Wow.
Yeah, this I think is one of the coolest features that Wikitree has that no other website has. This is something that nobody else has been able to do that I'm aware of. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. And again, just making sure you've got your information is accurate. You want to collect your sources. And because Wikitree does not maintain a database like Family Search or Ancestry, that's how they're able to keep the cost down and offer this as a free site. So basically, what they do is enable you to link to those other sites and the databases, the information, the records that are on those other sites. And that's how they're able to keep their costs down, but still give you the information you need to know. Now, on my profile page, I've listed some other things so people can assist me in doing my research. So, like for example, my notable relatives, those who have a media page or are related to a famous person by blood, like with my cousin Keenan. He's the grandson of Medgar Evers. Those types of people. So I've just listed a short list of them. Soon I'll be adding my connection to Archie on here as well, just to make sure. And then these are surnames of the people um, on both my father's side and my mother's side. And so these are names, if anybody's got any of these surnames in their family, see, you can click on that and you can see who that person is. And you can also see um, how you're related if you are. So in this case, it's telling me that Edward Hunter is my third great grandfather. You can look at the ancestors. That's Edward's. I probably should go back. But because this is Edward, we can also look at his descendants. And it's going to load up his descendants for me. And right now, what I have loaded into Wikitree, because I'm still adding, I've got a long ways to go. But, he had 9 children. I've documented 22 grandchildren. I've documented 57 great grandchildren. So it takes it on back. Now, unfortunately, I have not been able to go beyond 1870. And that's why I'm constantly looking into the Freedmen Bureau records. A lot of those records are not yet indexed, so you can't just type a name and find someone to attach. You have to do some physical research and you have to be able to read cursive writing to do that. And as we get to these younger generations, they're having difficulty reading cursive writing. So this is another reason that pulling this together is really important because you can share this with your younger folks. You know, I shared one with my grandniece just a couple of weeks ago because she had an assignment in school that she had to do. So I pointed her to where her section of the family is out here on Wikitree, and she was able to pull together something for her class assignment, and she got an A. I'm so excited.
That's good.
I was helping her to get an A, so that was exciting. But yeah, this is. Do you have any questions? Any specific questions?
No, continue. Great job. Great
Oh,
presentation.
okay. One of the other things that I
I'm
do.
sorry, Double R, I have one, just one quick one, real quick. You mentioned
Sure.
the Freeman Bureau records. What do they have available for you? And I yield.
Oh, wow. The Freedmen's Bureau is just a wealth of information. You know, you always hear people say I hit a brick wall because my family is African American and I can't go beyond the 1870 census. Well, that is not true. In the Freedmen Bureau records, those records were maintained by the military after or just prior to the end of the Civil War, because you realize our ancestors that were slaves didn't know any other life. So once they were freed, they needed assistance in getting food, clothing, jobs, shelter. And the Freedmen Bureau records are is documentation of what they did for African Americans who were freed. They also did immigrants who were not African American, because keep in mind, there were some other nationalities that came here that were treated like slaves as well, like the Italians or the Irish. So in those Freedmen Bureau records, they have both immigrants, African Americans, and there's documentation on where they assisted with helping some of those African Americans get the payments that they were due from people that hired them when they were slaves, continued to have those people work for them, but did not pay them, even though it was 50 cents a week. They wanted their money. So there were attorneys and things of that nature to assist them, and that's documentation that covers that.
And
Um, I,
Reggie,
I would suggest,
Reggie,
Jerry, I would suggest sharing the link to the Freedmen Bureau Friday meeting, because there Shelley goes through that entire process of researching within the Freedmen's Bureau.
okay, I will do that. And
Mhm.
Reggie, I mean, let's see. I I will do that with my next invitation. Oh, but Reggie, what I wanted to share with you, she's giving you some information about this Freeman's Bureau, and this is something, Denise, we're going through here in California, uh, on establishing a Freeman's Bureau here in
Yeah, for the
California.
reparations, I know,
Yes,
is it associated with that? Uh-huh.
yes, and so we're coming up with the different structures, and so you, what we're learning with that Freeman's Friday is important, and that's what I wanted to pivot to with you, Reggie. Um, After the Civil War, the white people who lost their land, they were called refugees,
Yes.
and they applied for to be a part of the Freedmen's Bureau also. They were refugees because they had lost all their land. They were refugees. So they're part of this Freedmen's Bureau also.
Yeah, yeah. There's an abandoned lands portion as well. So these records cover not only the abandoned lands, but the actions that were taken to try to recoup those lands and get them back to the families.
And the other thing, Double R, is it was ran, it was governed by the Army. The Freedmen's Bureau was by the Army. You need a, 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 a organization that has some teeth in it that can enforce laws. See, when we talk about the Freedmen's Bureau, African American Freedmen's Bureau, it's sort of general. But what happened here is the Army, after the Union Army, after the USS Grant, they won. They had field offices, and it started in Washington D.C. and the Army ran it. And so when they had disputes or anything, they had an organization that can enforce the laws, enforce contracts, and that 40 acres in a mule, they did give 40 acres in the southern South Carolina area. And the mules that they gave them were the mules that they had from the war, the Army war, the surplus mules they gave them to the the freedmen. So that's where you get the 40 acres and a mule. And then 2 years later, after they had that, this other president came in here, and Jackson, I believe his name, and he resorted back to where it was originally, took the land away, and just just he wasn't fair with what the initial intent was by President Lincoln. Just a little history. Can anyone verify that? What I'm telling you?
No, no, you're absolutely correct. But I think it was like a year later when they stole it back. But so this is so if you go to the Freeman Bureau records, this is going to all races, even the Japanese and what other races that you said that land was taken.
Well, anyone that was a refugee, they could have been Italian, um, Irish. I know the Irish were oftentimes treated as slaves
And
when
the
they
Scott
came over here to America.
and the
So
Scott
some
too.
of them are there too. Now, the majority of the records, I do believe, are focused on African Americans because they're the ones who sought help most often. But you will find situations where you'll find Caucasians in those records as well, and that's why.
Go ahead, Miranda.
You're
Miranda.
muted, sweetie. We can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I clicked on the lower the hand, forgot to unmute.
That's okay.
Just yeah, I was just wondering, as far as the Freedmen's Bureau records, does would any of that include, or do you know of any platforms that include like slave narrative interviews?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
Actually, we have slave narratives here in Wikitree. We had an entire team dedicated to documenting those slave narratives, and they're still doing that.
Wow.
We have there's a number of websites. I want to point you to a website called Black Pearls of Genealogy.
Okay.
That was created by someone who is also a Wikitree member, David Anthony Taylor. He has created that website, and there is a wealth of information out there. I think I might be able to go right to it here.
Repeat that
But
again. Did you say black girls or black pearls?
Pearls,
Pearls.
Pearls. It's taking a minute because I have quite a few tabs open.
We got time, Doc.
So this
Oh, wow.
is a website that he has created called Black Pearls of Genealogy. And these, just so you know, these are pictures that he created using AI functionality or AI
Okay.
technology. None of the pictures you see in this site are real people. These are all people that he has created using his
Okay. Thank you.
She's been slow. But yeah, if you get a chance, I'm going to put this link
Okay.
in the chat.
I appreciate that. So when you go into the website, you know, when I'm able to do so, that's where you'll find, I guess, typed interviews or maybe videos or just more so information to read.
Well, Black Pearls of Genealogy is actually a website that links you to other sites that gives you the information you're looking for. But it's focused on African
Okay.
Americans. It's focused on Black people.
Okay.
So you will see a section if I can ever get uh, my mouse to move here. First, I'm going to put this link in the chat. I think.
Okay. Thank you.
I've
I'll
got
have
a
to share
lot
that with my
of
family.
tab, and so this is this is moving. Wow, very slow.
Oh,
Give me a
so
moment.
sorry. Oh, my goodness.
No, you're fine. It's just me, just trying to get my mouse to stay still so I can. Oh, wow. And next time I enter Jerry's meeting, I'm going to have to cut back on some of my. Yeah. Okay, I've got the link there.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go into Black Pearls of Genealogy. And this is a real good site. I think they've done an excellent job getting. Am I? Yeah,
And I was
I'm
going to say,
sorry.
if you're not able,
Yeah,
okay,
it's
I can try it on
much of
my
my
own later
memory
on. Okay.
because it's just taking up too much of my memory.
Oh no, it's okay. I'll try it at a different time, you know, in case you want to get back to Wikitree, you know, for the presentation.
Oh, so I see that you break the acronym down. It's just wbpog.org. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Go on, double R. Go on, double R.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Hey, honorary genealogist right here. Much
There you
respect,
go.
Doc. She's doing it. She's doing it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop sharing. So if somebody else wants to try to go to that site, but um, yeah, that's another one that's very good, and it's like an index of a lot of different resources that can assist you with your research. Okay. And like I said, we've just done so much. I'm a co-leader for the U.S. Black Heritage Project in Wikitree, and so our focus and our mission is to connect
she's her internet is breaking up a little bit.
Very helpful.
Yeah, you coming in and out, Queen.
Yeah, that's probably my memory is trying to recover.
So, is there any questions for Denise? Thank you for that presentation. That was very helpful.
Oh yeah, just one. So the Black Pearl one is also free, right?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
it is free. Does ask for donations though, because it does cost him a little to maintain that website. He's asking for donations. However, it is free.
And the Freeman's Bureau records is also free?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can get those from Family Search. Family Search, log on to Family Search. A double R. That's one of the tools that the task force California Reparations Task Force used in 2022. They had some genealogists that were presenters, and they gave examples how individuals who don't have ancestry records, they can use that. Thanks, Miranda. They can use Family Search to find themselves, find a relative, and then in the Family Search, it goes in and finds relatives, and it has census records, and within 3 or 4, within 15 minutes at the most, you can find a relative that was enslaved somewhere in the United States before 1900, and they actually went through the steps. And so there's different that was done in 2022. And now you see, since then, look at all the different platforms we have, and the ways that we're connecting to get information. You know, so in closing, I want to show you just a couple of records that uh, that will wrap this up. A couple of my Caucasian DNA cousins reached out to me, and they verified where my ancestors were enslaved, and where they were enslaved at, and from 1850 until 1870 when they were freed, they did some extensive research. Lauren de Moll and Tommy Lewis, and they gave me records, and that's what I sent. I attached that to to my meeting links, and I just want to share a couple of the records with you. I'm gonna skim over them, but when you have time, if you got my meeting invitation, look at it. And what this does, they have Morris. They couldn't Lauren and Tommy. They couldn't. They didn't condone what was done, and they wanted to. They looked at some of our trees, in particular my tree, and they saw some of these enslaved people, and they saw what they were doing, and they saw that they were prospering, and then so they wanted to reach out to me and say, "Hey, I see in the tree that this possible enslaved person, um, they're doing well, and I want to help you with your research." And she's an educator, and she's well versed in the technology, and that's Lauren. And Tommy, he shared his information also. So I just want to show you a couple of some of this, and this is why I'm telling you, Double R and my beloved members, we have to connect with our Caucasian DNA relatives. When they know how closely we are related, we have more in common than we have that divides us. And that's all about education. We have to educate them. And some of them, some of our Caucasian cousins, they welcome and they freely share their information. And I was just conducting my research like I normally do, and then she reached out to me and said, "This is what she can do," and she felt that nobody, my ancestor women, nobody, there was no consent in that. It was just terror. It was a violation of their rights, and so she, shared the information. And so I'll share some with you, and I'm gonna breeze through it. But when you have time, look at it. There is one right. Maybe give me a second here. Here, not that one. Okay, I'm gonna make this larger so you can see it. What this is, it's one of some of the records that Lauren De Moll sent me. And this is an example. I'm just gonna sweep through these, but I'm gonna give you an example so you have an idea what the flavor is. This
Ooh.
is, pardon me?
No, this it was like when I saw and they're slaves, I was like, whoa.
That this is what I'm sharing with you, cuz here's went through this kind of detail that she shared with me now. And that's what it's given the history of my ancestors, black and white.
Right,
We have surnames, and my surname is
right,
Moss, Moss.
right.
This is where I got my name, surname Moss. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is verified by DNA.
DNA.
So here she is. Here she's talking. And I'm gonna go through it now. Here, this Thomas and J.C. Moss and their slaves. Thomas is the father. J.C. Moss is the
It's the
son,
sun.
and he was a Confederate. He fought for the Confederacy, and he was a prisoner of war. But the father started. Here's the father, Thomas Moss, and he was a reverend. He was a reverend, and it says he was born in Virginia, and he passed away in 1850 in Franklin County, Alabama. And he married about 1797 in Kentucky to this Margaret Peggy Moss, and the daughter of Reuben Norman and somebody else, 1780. But anyway, his date, this Thomas Moss, he passed away at, at 1850, and he didn't have a will. And so what he did, he started giving his kids the slaves that he had, and because it went through probate. And so this is some of the information that I'm getting. I'm just giving you an idea. Thomas and Peggy, they sold their land in Kentucky, and she's telling you exactly what it is. You see these narratives that she's using? She's telling you the story of her ancestor. And it goes on. Oh, here it is. In his will, written in 1849, he bequeathed 18 enslaved people to his wife and children. To his wife, the Negro slave Randall, Edmund, and old Peggy, and little girl Mary. So he started doing all this, and he put prices on. You can see $700 and the rest, all that. So there that is. And then he's given situations about, he's telling about a story and who's gonna get what. So he has his will, and this is the information. So she shared that. She comes down to, okay, here's the son, Jackson Curl Coffee, and what he did. And so he inherited the father's land, which to be sold to his brother and Negro boy Henry, and valued at $300. And then there's Rufus. There he is, 19. And the one, okay, here this is. Of the 25 people enslaved by J.C. Moss in 1860, I'm confident of the identities of 10. William and Martha Pasty were a couple in their late 30s. Rufus and Jerry Moss, both 27. So those were two. Rufus' wife, Alabama, was 20, and 3 teenage boys. And so she has the documentation, and then it's in the 1870 census. So I just wanted to give you an idea. J.C. Moss, 46, enlisted in the Confederate Army in 1861, 4 months after the attack on Fort Sumter. You know, we hear about Fort Sumter. He was commissioned captain and nicknamed the Falcon Guards. And he was eventually captured. So I'm not going to go through that anymore. So what happens is I'm sharing that information with you to give you an idea what kind of information that you can get from your DNA Caucasian relatives, those who are compassionate, and they want to help. But did you see how specific
Yeah,
that information was?
I can see it. It's a good breakdown.
And
And
so,
I know I'm gonna be on this by myself. Well, with y'all or you, but my family, they're in denial about some of the stuff that I found.
Yeah, and that tends to happen.
Mm-hmm.
and
It's
and she went on to do this, for example. Can you see the moth
Mm-hmm.
geographic? You see where he was, where he was born, and they go in.
Wow.
They actually show, and they have the names of them, and they actually show where they lived at, where they were in Kentucky, over here in Alabama. It shows where their plantation was. So they started off in Kentucky, and you got Alabama, where the plantations are.
Wow.
You see that? By 1820, it talks about he had 400 acres near Russellville. She shows it right there, Russellville, and she actually shows. She comes back in and shows where the plantations were. There's a plantation, 1851. And then they come into Arkansas. J.C. Moss and his mother Peggy and sisters-in-law from Alabama to Arkansas by 1851. And they had about 300 acres of land, possibly more. And it was in the Alabama Township, Columbia County. And this is the first parcel of land officially granted to J.C. Moss in 1854. And so what they did, they show maps of it. They show maps of the land, and they say he grew cotton on his cash crop and some food crops, and he is owner 25 slaves. And then here it is right here. See, JCC Moss Plantation. It shows right where it was. So there it is. So and then she comes back in, and here's the Moss Plantation right over Alabama Township, right there. And here's Hempstead County, and then here's where the Moss Plantation is, right over there by Magnolia. You know, we hear about those. Spring Hill, Buckner, Hope, right up here. But this is where the plantation was. Let me show you this.
Have you ever been to the plantation in that area?
No, this I never knew about it until this lady showed me where it was. No, I've never been to it. But you know what?
Okay.
Right here, there it is. She showed me. I don't have to physically go to it because she's showing me where it is right now. You see that? She mapped it out.
Right.
And then if I really wanted to see it, you see that 53 and all this other stuff? I'll go right. I go over here. Here's what I do. I'm gonna share this with you so that y'all know that you know what I do. When you ask, have I been there? Let me go here. I use this platform. You see this? This is Google Earth. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go up here and I'll say H-O Hope E-R. Hope, Arkansas. And I'll click right here.
You know that's where President Clinton grew up, right?
That's right. That's right.
Oh Lord.
I sure do know that. And I have family members that are there. Right. And so what happens is watch how this populates itself. There it is. There's Hope. Can you see it a little clearer? The city?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there it is. And you remember that other map that I showed you that had these different highways? What I would have to do is come over here and look at the right ones. And like if it was over in this area, for some example, I could do that. I could see it right now with my Google Earth. I use Google Earth. I go anywhere on this map. I use Google Earth and I go right to it and look at it. See, so I use this here Google Earth, and it's free. But I'll be able to show, that one that we saw. I would be able to see it right here. You see this? The one that had Moss Plantation. I would be able to get close enough to where it's at. There it is. I know I can go by this here by stamps. Here's Alabama Township. You saw that in the writings that she had, and so that's how I would be able to find it. I'd be able to find it. So that's the kind of information that she shared with me. And I just have one more. Go ahead, Clarice.
No, when you finish, I was just going to ask how to get onto that Freedmen's record, those records. I missed that somehow or another.
Okay, we'll get that to you. Look at this record. He's giving us the Moss Trail. See that? Did y'all see that? Here she is.
Yes.
Lauren K. Moss down here when she's born. And she goes all the way up to this here Thomas Moss where he's at. And then her matches, look at, she shows us these matches. She has 50 DNA matches to me who are proven cousins. And she even has the centromorgans. See, now she's showing who's matching these black cousins of mine and who's matching her and how many centromorgans and where they're at. Fourth and sixth cousin, and mine is Reuben Moss. She has 9 DNA matches to me who are descendants of Reuben Moss. It ranges from 15 to 16 centromorgans, 4 generations, and then it goes into that, and here they are. They call out their names, and this person here, oh, Josephine Moss Atkins, Lauren 14 Sycamore, match with Jerry Moss Sr. Also a match with other white Moss descendants. So, and here's another one. Val, we just had this one of the, she was on here earlier. Val, a descendant of Reuben's son, James Monroe Moss. We heard that today, didn't we? 15 center match with Lorraine, 58 match. Val, she matches me 58 Central to Jerry Moss Sr. And she's 111 Central to Tommy. So now she's giving, and the one who was at our meeting earlier, here she is, Yvette. She had to leave, Yvette Holder. She's a descendant, 9 matches there, and Yvette 73 Central matches with me. And she had to leave. Remember, she was on her ship. But look at that. So that's good night. Good night, Gracie. That's the kind of information that she shared with me, and it's verifiable. So what I'll do is take that information and with my records, and I can I can build a more accurate tree. What does it mean? And what does it mean for you? Any of you can comment on this to see that kind of records that has been shared with me from my.
It's good.
What is
It's good, but
what
it's
does it mean to
scary at
see
the
that?
same time.
It's amazing, my brother. We appreciate you guys. You know that Japanese is from Japan, Chinese is from China. You helping us to know what Negro is, where we from, what, and all the above. Salute, y'all. Salute.
Go ahead. Who else has a comment? Thank you, Dewar. What you just saw? I want to hear from you. Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
I think it's a good thing, but at the same time, it kind of scary because you gonna open up a can of worms when you see certain names that you didn't know, or certain names that your family try to tell you to stay away from, and they don't want you to learn about it and stuff like that. That's the only thing I hate. But I'm gonna keep going without them or not. So.
Well, one of my beliefs is the truth can't be hidden. It can only be revealed. And,
Right.
and this is an example in my lifetime with the genealogy research that I've done at the degree of what I've been able to learn and gather from this. Look at the information that was shared with me from someone that I never knew. And look at the specificity of it, how specific she is with that. Now, you can't tell me that if I presented that to, I don't care what board it is, the United States reparations, California reparations, uh, they would have to approve that.
Right.
Well, and two, cousin, it's the Jim Crow and the Willie Lynch uh, mentality that we have. When they told our folks to don't share certain things, they was threatening to kill them. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because it would be situations like this. Because
Mm-hmm.
they know we won't get paid. First of all, we won't even have a sense of who we are, which is if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. And that's why we've been like a dog chasing our tails. We lead in everything negative and we under and behind in everything positive. So it's the Jim Crow and the Willie Lynch mentality that we see. I don't know why our black folks don't shake out of that like I had to shake out of it. I didn't learn my history till I'm in my 50s. But what we supposed to do, just like the young man was on here, and salute, King, we have to get our youth to know who
Right.
they are. We got
Right.
Black History Month, 28 days. Take out 4 weekends. We got 20 days to teach our youth about our
Right.
history. We're not even scratching the surface, so it's genociding our kids. Now, what we have to do is we have to have our youth, like my man came up in here, to get into programs like this, to understand where they are. And that's how powerful we will be. Once we know where we came from, who we are, we're going to know exactly
Right.
where we're going. And I yield black power.
Thank you, WR.
That's
Go
true.
ahead, Miranda.
Um, I was just going to say that the information shared, through the different documents and just the communication that you've had, with Caucasian DNA family members, um, it's it kind of gives you mixed emotions. It's encouraging, and I commend you because I have not been able to get anybody to really explain anything. Half of them don't know anything. I know I put that in the chat, so, oh, I'll get back to you because I'll have to ask so and so because I really don't know, those types of things. But to see in detail, and to be able to recognize names and to see how you're connected, um, that right there, and then to know that the prices on their beings, that right there, it hurts for anybody, that's able to obtain that kind of information. But at the same time, it's a reality and it's our history. It's a painful history, but for you to be able to get it from folks and to maintain it and share it, it's commendable. But at the same time, it's very encouraging because I know I've had some DNA matches where, like for instance, let me see. Um, Not Caucasian, African American. However, there was one lady in particular. I was able to reach out to her. We weren't sure how we were connected. We talked on the phone for a long time, and then come to find out she's actually on a third branch that I have. I'll just put it this way:
Oh, wow.
on my mother's side, her biological father, we're related through those relatives. And we didn't find that out for like maybe 3-4 years later. But during that conversation I had with her, she told me that she said, baby, we may not find out, today or tomorrow, but just stay encouraged. Sometimes it may take a couple weeks, couple years, but in time. But what ended up happening was there was a letter that someone posted and it had it said the Miller Thornton family history, and it had ancestors like my third great grandmother and her husband, and then it talked about how the family members from Alabama, they started originally in Virginia, went to Alabama. 21 members from Alabama left from there and went up to New Jersey and branched out from there. And when I saw that letter and I saw who the shared matches were, I realized that one cousin that I had that conversation with like 3, 4 years prior, who told me to stay encouraged and don't give up. Um, I immediately reached out to her on Ancestry. She messaged me back and she said, call me. So I called her. I told her about the letter that was found, the information that had been shared. And she said, that's it. That's it right there. You got it. She didn't know. I didn't know. But and she started telling me about some of the ancestors I mean, because I believe she's probably in her 70s. And so she just basically was able to share uh, some of the ancestors that she lived to see, in her childhood or her youth. And I was amazed. It was, you just never know what you'll find during your
No.
research,
Thank you so
and when
much.
you connect with these people, it's a blessing.
Thank you so much for your views, and I feel your emotions and what you've seen and the impact it's having on you. Uh,
Yeah.
Denise, do you have any comments? I want to show you one other one
I
other
have a comment when she gets finished.
Denise.
Okay. I just to repeat what everyone has said, knowing your history, um, it's a challenge for us to move forward if we don't know what happened to us back in the day. As my dad used to say, you've got to understand what your family went through in the past, so that you're not destined to repeat it. You want to be able to avoid some of the things that happened to us in the past as we move forward. And like Zoom user, I think you call him Double R.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, he hit the nail on the head. We have to make sure that the younger generation understands. It's about understanding what your family went through to get you to where you are now. A lot of them just don't understand that. And that's why I do this. And that's why I put it on Wikitree so that it will be there forever. They can Google search anybody and it'll point them back to a profile of their family member on Wikitree. So that doesn't happen with Ancestry. You have to tell them where to go with Ancestry. You have to tell them where to go with 23andMe. But that's just another beauty about Wikitree because they can do a Google search and it will point them right to their record in Wikitree if it's there. But I really applaud what you do, cousin, and I've been trying to repeat this with, that one tree where I have 40,000 names. I've invited people. Typically, I only get 1 or 2 people, but that's a start. So you've inspired me to do the same with my family, with another line of my family, I should say.
That's great. Clarice?
Yes, first of all, thank you, Denise. I copied that link to the Freedmen's Bureau. Excuse me. Jerry, in regard to the information you got, you hit the jackpot. And the other thing, I think we ought to, and what Reggie was saying about our youth, that's where we have to focus. You get arrested or been arrested, they read you your rights, your memorandum. We need to adopt a Black, Afro-American, Negro, whatever you want to call it, a memorandum rights saying what you don't know will and can be used against you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Clarice, what specifically about the information that I shared um, got your attention?
Well, not only have you shared, but you've actually done it for me. It's just that to know specific, like when we went through mine, on my father's side, I didn't know, but this one brother that I knew, Noble, his son got killed in Vietnam. And there we had that record. It was like, wow, yeah, that was, I mean, it's like, okay, and it was just, it's just so surreal to know you actually see what is being happening. A lot of times, again, our parents, that Jim Crow, whatever you want to call it, they were afraid. And then they were doing a lot of stuff they didn't want to tell you, but it's like, guess what, y'all? Y'all all passed on, but it's coming to light now. All this
Yeah.
stuff is coming to light. And it is important. Sometimes you may run across things that you don't want to know. I discovered some stuff that my father's father went to prison when my father was 5 years old. So a lot of the patterns
Oh,
that our parents had, my father never shared that with us. But now you go back and you go, wow, that's why he acted the way he did. That's why he was the way that he was. And I think even in this day and time, I'm at 74, it gives me an appreciation for what my parents and our ancestors did for us because they didn't share that information. So when you
Mm-hmm.
get information like you've gotten, Jerry, that's the jackpot, man. That's a gold mine. And I'm
Jackpot.
waiting because I know they won't be from white folks because I only got 6% of non-Afro in my family, but there is some information. There's that German part, but I
Yeah.
do know that I'm going to find some information that's going to just enlighten my world. And I appreciate you so very much. Thank
So my pleasure. This is one document that talks about descendants of this J.C. Moss slaves, and he goes through, and Lauren goes through and she color codes it, and she starts in 1860, and that's before emancipation, and that's on a slave schedule. That's when we were. There's 1850 slave schedule, the 1860 slave schedule. So they had two type of censuses. Censuses. One, the folks had their own census, regular census, and then they had a slave schedule, it's called, for their enslaved people who they enslaved. So let me just share this one, and this will be the final document of the day.
And keep in mind while he's showing this, the slave owners were required to do this because they had to pay taxes on their slaves. So they
oh,
were
really?
required to document how many slaves they had. So they weren't doing this out of the goodness of their heart.
Now that I never knew.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
And so here it is, the descendants of this JCC Moss. It lists 14 individual couples who Lauren believes may have been enslaved by JCC Moss in 1860, and they would have been adults in 1870, and that's when they had the last name of them. And look at these names. Here's the different names. And in 1860 slave schedule, this Reuben Moss here. Uh, there's Rufus. Um, there's Rufus, and there's a Rufus there. Here he is, Reuben Moss. In 1860, he was 17 years old. Now, this is my second great grandfather. And look how she's coding this. She's color coding it. And on slave schedule, they give ages and they give sex and the race. And they don't have the last name. She's putting these Mosses in from the 1870s that came up on the 1870s census. But anyway, she came through and talked about it, and some of the age and order of the 1860 slave schedule, and it's a draft. And then she goes through and says she got colors here: blue, orange, and DNA people with descendants who are DNA matches with Lauren. Here, that and People who are identified one or more Moss, Atkins, Anthony, Tidwell, or Haney trees. Those are my people. They're that color. This uh, lavender. I'm colorblind, but I just bought a lavender. What? I bought purple sometime. Anyway, and here's Tommy Lewis and or Jerry Moss Sr. proudly. Let's see. People with descendants who are DNA matches to Lauren and Tommy Lewis and or Jerry Moss Sr. Probably through JCC Moss. And so look at it. He goes through William Jack Moss. He goes through all that information and shares their names. Remember the colors over here? And Jack Moss, Lucretia, it goes into all those where they married at. And then we go down to Carolina, Rufus Moss. And here's the matches. See, Anthony Salvage, Mays 32, 125 centimorgans matches Tommy Lewis. So she's been through our records. This Leotis Davis, 9 centimorgans, matches with Lorraine. I think that might be that Davis who was on with us earlier. And so then it comes down Manette Hobson, Joe Moss, and then Jerry Moss. That's another. He was there in Rufus. Then as you go down, I'm going to show you where Reuben comes in. Here he is. Here he is. Reuben T. Moss. That's where he was born, when he passed away in Los Angeles, and my second great grandmother, there she is. And then she starts talking about a narrative and comes down to Etta, Josephine, and then here's David and Jerry Moss, a DNA match to other Moss descendants, black and white. So this is my family right here. My father is Kenneth. And where he's from. And so and then she actually puts Joshua Davis, 14th century Morgans, matching, and here's James Monroe Moss. We did a whole lot with them earlier. There they are. Lawrence, the guy talked about Lawrence, Etta, and Yvette, she was in the meeting, 9 centimorgans, and Lauren, she matches her. Lauren, 9, and Yvette matches me, 73 centimorgans. And so there they are, Mike McGee, and she went through Luther Moss. These are the brothers of James Monroe Moss. And so she went through and got all that information, and I yield back. But I wanted to show you those 4 documents so that you can at least see what was shared and how that information was verified by DNA.
I know I might be off the subject, but she said I'm on a Zoom. Something. My name ain't coming up. How y'all got your name on there? I see Fire Tablet got the same thing like me, but how do you put your name on the Zoom?
For me?
No, mine said somebody said mine said Zoom tablet or something. Zoom something.
Yeah, it says Zoom user.
How do y'all put y'all names on y'all? I've been going through everything and
When
I'm
it
not.
first come on, it has a little box and it said to type your name in. And then I typed name in, then everybody came up.
Mm-hmm.
May I?
Please.
Yeah.
Go to participant, hold down on your name, and you're gonna get a little box that'll come up, and you can say rename, and then that's when you choose.
Oh, thank you, First Lady. That's
Yeah, I love you.
I'm pushing everything with. Yes, yes.
Yes, thank you. I just learned something new too.
Okay.
I didn't know.
All right, now I got a name. There we go.
That's what we do on the show here. We share. I brag all the time on this show. We share.
Oh,
Yeah.
sharing is caring. I love it.
I was pushing
Okay.
everything but that. I pushed
There he
options
is.
more.
Look
Wow.
at him. He's on there now. Double R.
I'm on there. All right.
Well, I have a nomination for the MVP. Uh, um, the young lady. How do you pronounce your name? Tara. What is it? How do you pronounce your name up there? Tyra. Is that right? Tyra. What's her name over there? It says Fire Tablet.
Yeah,
Which one?
fire tablet.
Which one are you? What's your name?
To me,
Yeah,
Datra.
yeah, Deidre. I make a
Okay.
motion that she's the MVP for today's meeting. I need
Salute.
a,
Oh, thank
I need a
you.
second.
I second.
All in
Third,
favor?
fourth, and fifth.
I
All,
agree. All
all
in
in
favor.
favor?
I'm in
I
favor. I.
Well,
Thank
I
you,
don't know.
thank
I'm
you,
gonna give
thank you.
Denise a little run for your money, though. I think they both should be.
Well, we can do it like that. We have co-MVPs. How
There we
about
go.
that, Double R?
There,
Yes.
I like that.
Okay.
Denise is an honorary genealogist. She talking about she ain't got the paperwork. We didn't gave you the paperwork.
Well, well, Miranda,
All right.
please note that we have co-MVPs, and you too, Clarice.
Well, I think we're all
yes.
MVPs because everybody offered something for the good of the group today. So I think
Yeah,
everybody should get an MVP.
I learned a lot.
And I
No, I can't shine with y'all, Queen. But y'all, Queens, y'all did it today. Y'all made us males look crazy today.
and I offered to be help be a mentor to you. How do you pronounce? She didn't change her. DeAndre, is it?
Datra.
Spell it.
Daytra.
Okay. I'm volunteering to be a mentor for you if you would accept that.
No, thank you. I sure will. I need all the help I can get.
Okay. There we go. So, any closing comments, my beloved friends and family?
Well, I just want to know, is anybody on this panel besides Jerry related to me?
Uh, I'm not sure.
We shall see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we will see.
Yes.
We will see because I got to finish making my account, better, so I can do more research on it. And I'm gonna come for y'all when I find out.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I gave Jerry total control of mine because I might mess up and let everybody see my information. So, how to keep, like they said, they had 8 different levels. He know how to do it. So, if I was
Yeah.
you, I give it to somebody who know how to do it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you don't have to pay to unlock certain situations you have to get into. He got the resources and access to get in where you can't get in.
Oh, okay. That's good. I need that. I need all the
Yeah.
help. Thank you.
Jerry, don't forget your assignment.
Well, I'm nominating him. I know he probably got 100 people. I don't know. He got to speak for himself.
What is it, Denise?
What is your assignment?
Yes.
To provide the link to the Freedmen Bureau Friday meeting.
Oh,
Okay. Let me write that down.
It's every Friday from starting at 7 p.m. I'll say 7 p.m. until, because
Yeah.
7 p.m. who
they've gone
time?
till 3 in the morning Eastern time.
Yeah. I have the link.
7 Eastern time?
Yes, 7
4
p.m.
o'clock.
Eastern time.
Yeah.
Okay, 4
Yeah,
o'clock our time. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I was on it this last Friday.
But you can join anytime after that because we're constantly in discussion. The first portion of the meeting is where Shelley goes through the Freedmen Bureau, especially if she's got people who have never come to the meeting before. She'll walk you through how to access it. and the different records, how to read through it. I mean, she's very thorough and very knowledgeable on that Freedmen's Bureau documentation. And we walk through, we look at specific documents. In some cases, we're transcribing, trying to read through what the document actually says. And then after that, we get into other discussions. There's experts on doing DNA analysis that join. There's, and we talk about all kinds of things, not really political, but we talk about other things that we deal with in finding our records and doing research and things of that nature. So it's just a bunch of genealogists enjoying Friday night together. If you want a glass of wine at home, you can do that. But whatever you're doing at home, you can do on Zoom. And it's a great job. We usually get about 50 or 60 people joining every Friday night.
Wow.
Well, you say it's not political. I'm gonna have to open up the door for reparations up here because this Freeman here. This is how we get things doing, and that word is powerful. So I'm gonna bring some politics on there. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. I mean, you can share your information, and I'm sure there will be people that are interested. Yep.
All
okay.
Right.
Thank you so much, everyone. Any closing comments before we, finish out the rest of our day? Any closing comments?
Great job. Happy to see everyone. This weather is acting crazy, so you don't know what we're gonna get.
Yes, it is. Miranda?
Just want to say thank you. And, it's good to see everybody and share information. And my goodness, all the links and everything. And I just thank you all. It's good to see everyone.
Thank you, Miranda. Clarice?
It's been great. It's been great, as always. Thank you. And we'll see each other next time. Maybe on that Friday show. I'll get that link.
The double R.
Man, I'm so blessed. I got work to do. Black Pearls, genealogy, and Freeman, all this, the military, and Freeman Friday. Man, y'all gave me some homework. Okay, I appreciate that. And I got a lot to share with everybody else because you guys understand that when I speak to my reparations people, genealogy is the thing that I speak about with Cousin Jerry. So I'm glad you guys gave me the information. Salute. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Double R, would you please tell us about your event that's coming up?
Oh, okay. Well, on April 27th, I'm having a reparations talk at my shop here in Temecula, California. It's the second one, and what we're doing is I'm having CJEC, the head organizer, Chris Larson, with the Sacramento crew and the LA crew, African Town, San Diego, and LA coming down, and we're trying to get Bill Asaley, which is the Republican assembly member here out of District 63, which I live in, and also District 55, where my shop is, Kate Sanchez, to come through so we can talk to these Republicans and trying to, well, first of all, he authored our SB 1315 bill, which is the Freedmen Affairs Agency that we need to start a foundation for this reparations in California. And it will be from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I'm going to be doing a fish fry, 3 loaves and 4 fishes. Like last time, everybody liked it. I'm feeding everybody. Just come, get some knowledge, and let our team talk to you and give you some awareness and education about reparations. I yield Black Power.
Thank you, Double R. Deidre?
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for everything. I learned so much. I learned a lot, and I got a lot of homework to do too. And just remind me, remind me of the next meeting, by email or whenever.
Okay, it'll be April the 6th.
April the 6th?
Yeah. That's the first.
Same time?
Yeah, same time. The first, it'll be April 6th and April 20th. April 6th.
Now, on the days that I don't join in, forgive me, because, I live in Florida and we always have thunderstorm. It was a thunderstorm today, but I made it through it, so.
It's terrible. What's happened?
Yeah,
Whew,
yeah.
I'm praying for the
So,
whole country. A lot of people perished, and it's been terrible.
right.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised the lights didn't cut off because usually we have the lights cut off, but they didn't do it this time.
Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to helping you with your research and anyone else. And
Thank you.
it's been a great meeting, and I appreciate your presence. It's all good. It's all God.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Right.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night,
Peace and
everybody.
reparations.
All
Black
right. Bye
power every
bye.
second of the hour. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
Bye.
Thanks, Deidre.
Oh, you welcome.
I mean, what was it like for the first time having, being in a meeting like this?
Oh, it was great. Great, great, great. I learned so much and I can't wait to get started.
Well, you've started all right. You good. You
Well,
started.
I mean, with that deeper information, especially what I learned tonight with other websites. Oh yeah, I got to go because I'm just so curious because I don't recognize none of the name, the last names. So I got to see how it got started when it stopped being Moss and started being other last names throughout the generation. That's what I'm looking for. Like what broke that connection.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll connect the dots as best as we can.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll be seeing you on April 6th if I don't
Yeah,
have no thunderstorm down here in Tampa.
yeah, if the Lord wills. So,
Okay.
have a good evening. Rest of the night.
You too. You take care, okay?
All right, cuz.
All right. All right.